Hey, how's it going, everybody? Yeah, sounds right. How's it going? So we're gonna be streaming a little bit today. Not sure how long. Probably around like 3 hours or so. We're gonna be doing some coloring, all that fun stuff. I finished up all the inks yesterday, actually, for the last 3 pages, and I started timing myself. If you guys remember in the previous video, I was talking about this, like getting back in that old habit of putting all the time that I've been putting into the project back on that timesheet. It sort of helps keep me accountable for that. However, before we get into that, we're gonna be doing some boring flat stuff, so I understand could get a little boring for you guys. I wanted to show you guys. I posted this as well on social media and all that stuff yesterday. I finished the Professor Xavier. I said I was going to do that on stream, but I just didn't have any time to be able to like get a stream going in order to finish it. I had to hammer it out. So sorry, you guys didn't get to see it all, all the way through. But I'll just open up, I guess, how it started, and we'll get a close-up version so you guys can see. Hey, Monochrome, welcome, man. Actually, let me get this because I know this is gonna happen. Playback devices, headset. I always screw this part up every time we go to streaming because like the audio is always a little different. And desktop audio, let's turn that on. That way, anybody follows, we can all hear it and all that cool stuff. Anyway, okay, so we started off with the silhouette of Professor X, if you guys remember. Then we moved on to our line art. Now, this one where I was stuck was I wasn't sure which kind of hands I was going to use. We had like this kind and this, if I was going to mirror it and all that stuff. Hey, Nabu, welcome in. I ended up deciding to go with having both the hands on the side of his head, like that. It just felt more synergistic, I suppose. Instead of him doing all this like complicated stuff, just felt a little bit right to have his hands kind of doing what they would do. I did try this new thing that I do all the time when I'm like sketching with like a Bic pen or something like that, which is, I always call it the Jim Lee rendering because I don't know the appropriate name for it, but it's basically just like this chicken scratchy kind of lines where it starts somewhere and then it kind of like tapers off. But I just started adding that, and it started to feel a little bit manga-ish. A lot of like manga kind of stuff with pens and all that, getting that kind of drawn. I didn't mind it. I thought it actually looked pretty cool. Um, it was fun to definitely experiment with it. But anyway, so we put the marker on there. We wrapped it all up. And this is the final piece there. It came out really well. I enjoyed it anyway. If you guys remember, his hand was popping over here. I decided to keep it all in there and just have his head popping out through the frame. That to me made a lot more storytelling sense since he's can control thoughts and read your mind and all that stuff like that. Then we got that background in there that I showed you guys how we did that. And yeah, it came out pretty well, all things considered. The face, I'm really happy with the way that came out. I don't draw enough of like extreme angle faces, so this was a good little experiment for me just to get in there and all that. But all in all, I had a blast doing this one. Okay, so that's the update for this stuff. Now let's get back into this stuff. We're going to be doing color. Yay. And color means flats. So I'm going to see if we can just move this along ASAP as fast as humanly possible. Because the flats to me take almost like, not as long, but they're the most boring stage in the whole thing. It's like the line art. And I know line art to a lot of people is fun. But I'd rather get to the inking ASAP. But this is sort of like a necessity in a lot of ways. Sorry, I'm just sort of talking to myself here. Let's grab. Looks like we're going to need a few different pages here. That's okay. Start with this stuff. Let's wait for it to load. Alright, let's turn off all our little special effects and stuff. There we go. Because we're going to need some of these flat colors. Thanks, Nabu. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I know Jesop King it doesn't have rendering at all for the most part, and there's a good reason for that. Like it adds time, but I do like rendering in my spare time, like if I'm doing sketchbook stuff or just sort of scribbling.
Welcome, and thank you for the follow.
That's so. That is so loud. You guys let me know how loud that was, because I haven't had it come through this. Thad Taylor, welcome. I appreciate the follow, my man. So you're coming from YouTube, obviously, I'm assuming. But anyway, welcome. And I've been saying this to everybody. Feel free to leave like links and stuff in the chat below, all that cool stuff. You let people know where you're at if they want to check out your stuff. All that cool stuff. Okay. Monochrome Moose is saying, "I love it, but what's with the professor's eyebrows? I never watched a cartoon or read much comics. Is that for effect? It's kind of for effect, but I always thought like, and it was funny. A few people were saying that. Let me just here. I'm gonna do a little quick little Google search. I'll do it off screen because you never know with the internet. Um, I remember like him with crazy eyebrows all the time. Here we go. This will be all right. If you can kind of see, I don't know how. Let me try zooming in. Like, look at his eyebrows. They do like this. I always like Namor. He always has like crazy eyebrows as well. He's got like the crazy eyebrows right there. Turn to default. Where's another one I saw? Let's take a look at this one. You see how like they arch up? This one's a lot more tame. The cartoon I felt was there, but like even this I kind of remember as a kid from the Mastermind. You know, like these trading cards, they always do like this arching thing. Now, to be fair, these are a lot more tame. They're there, but they're not like how I went like just really went like that. I try to push it a little bit because like I say, he's just a bald guy, so there's got to be something in there. Maybe we could tweak a little bit. So usually the eyebrows, without an actual facial feature being a difference, that can kind of help with that as well. So Nordic Forge, how's it going? Welcome back, man. I hope you're doing good. Okay, so let's get this gravy train going. All right, we got to get our blue color. We're gonna turn all our lines to like this soft blue kind of color. And actually, yeah, let's do this right. I wanted to try something different today, but it involves getting all the flats done. It's doing the shadows in a little bit different of a way, just sort of like making a layer for the shadow as opposed to going onto each smart object, or not smart object, each character and adding an individual shadow. You'll see what I'm talking about. I want to see if that speeds things up. I'm assuming it will, and we'll see how that goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just number this up. Oh, and as for the music as well, you guys, I doubt I'll be using music really at all anymore. Maybe, I'm not sure. Just because I don't want to not have something to upload back to YouTube to help people out over there. Some people, they don't like Twitch and stuff. And a lot of my videos I can't even post because there's copyrighted content, which is just music. So sadly, it'll be this until we can find some sort of like royalty-free kind of music. How am I liking Twitch versus YouTube? Well, it is different. It's different big time. I am enjoying it though. But the differences are kind of funny. Like on so far anyway, I'm noticing it's a little bit different when I give you guys more time to get in here. But on YouTube, whenever you go live, I've always found that like it fills up pretty quick. And my assumption to that is just because most people go on YouTube for the most part, kind of like channel surfing, like on TV. And on Twitch, it's a streaming site, primarily for video games as well, right? So if you're looking for any of that stuff, you're going to go to Twitch. You're probably not going to go to YouTube to look for video game streaming, right? And I know there's a whole creative side here on Twitch, but like if you go to the comics section here, I've gone throughout the week, and there's usually it floats between 2 and like 5 people streaming max, which is good and sad. It's good because that means a lot of us that are doing comics, if you guys want to stream, this could be ripe, right? Because this could be where people like average people go to Twitch and they just go, I'm gonna go check this out and see if there's like comic book stuff, right? And they go and they check out, and it's you because we're the only people here. You could get like an audience that way, right? The other sad part is that might not necessarily be the case. Just there's no audience for it here, right? So it's whatever. The one thing I will say, and I've continued to say it, is that what I do like about Twitch a lot so far is the fact that it's very what's the word I want to use? Customizable. Like you can add overlays and stuff like that. It's a little bit more work, but I definitely think it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Once you, I guess, spend a little bit of time with it, you can really start customizing stuff, and potentially you can make more money on it than YouTube. I don't know. Myself, I'm saying that for myself. Like, I'm not doing this to make money, but unlike YouTube, I'll get paid maybe once every 6 months, and it'll be like $100 or something because of the ads, which is fine. But I mean, why I'm saying that And I'm not saying that as like a pouting way. I'm saying that because there's no incentive to keep me there if there's other options available for potential income, right? And that's good. You know, all of us doing comics and stuff. If you want to try to find a way to stretch your income sources, play it smart. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, as they say. So all in all, I would say I like it. If you're a new channel, I would probably stick to YouTube because I would think more casual people, like more artists. Let me just move this. More artists are probably going to find you out on YouTube than they would on Twitch. Like when I stream, I make a video. You guys probably, a lot of YouTube people, that's probably where you found me here on Twitch so far, is because I upload a video saying, "Come check me out over here." But my biggest audience is there. Whether or not a lot of those people actually watch my content anymore, that's a different thing. But yeah, I would recommend probably sticking with YouTube if you're new to streaming, or you're trying to build an initial audience, possibly. Or if you got a really cool computer, apparently you can stream to both services. So in that case, it doesn't even matter, you know. Nordic is saying that's pretty much what I did. Who is this guy? Is he the only guy doing comics? Just check it out and press the lever. Thanks, Nordic. See, and that's what I'm saying. Sadly, it's a sad thing. I wish there was more people there. But again, if you are a comic book artist, I don't care what level you're at. I do think it's a very good opportunity to just start streaming on sites that don't seem to, like, Twitch has been around forever, or not forever, for a long time, right? And that means some good and bad things at the same time. One of the good things is it has an established audience, which is great. Um, and the art stuff is what, like, is that like a year, 2 years old now, around there? Maybe a little bit longer. Can't be that long. So there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff, a lot of opportunity, and a lot of places to try to see if you get an audience somewhere. Because really, all of us were just fighting with each other for who can, or where can you get an audience? Where can you get people's attention? We're just going to fill in a color for the background. I don't know if we're going to keep the yellow. Nabu saying, design the Doblin Cyclops already? I love Monster. Oh, you're giving spoilers away. No, I'm just joking. Okay, so there's, I alluded a couple streams ago. It'll probably start going live a little bit. You guys won't see it for a while on the actual webcomic. But there's a big bad guy that Jesop will confront here. And what Nabu's talking about is a Patreon post I made, and I'll be updating it there, showing like my concept process to try to come up with a design for this character. And the downsides of having a webcomic that updates and not having a lot of time, but you still have to come up with new ideas and concepts. It's a different approach to giving yourself like a month to come up with the world and design. Like you can sit and ponder more. Where it's on like webcomics, it's very much, or even like just comics in general, a lot of it's very like turnaround time is very important. So you can't sit on design a lot of time. You kind of have to go off impulse, and that's why having a broad range of reference and inspiration around you helps, because that way you can just pull without having to do like lots of research. Okay. Anyway, so in Jesop King, it's very sci-fi, but I like to call it science fantasy. That's where I put like Star Wars. I put that category. Star Trek, I'd probably put in sci-fi, right? So I like science fantasy because it almost combines everything. Like you get like Final Fantasies, a lot of them like steampunk and that, right? You got swords and magic mixed with guns, dragons, mechs, mixed with Cyclops, goblins, war machine, right? Like all that stuff's cool. Just put it all together. Anyway, so these Doblins, they have like little pockets of groups, and the big enforcer dudes, they're like Cyclopses. Okay, that way I can put my fantasy like characters that I love to put in there, So he's gonna be themed kind of like a Doblin, but he's a Cyclops. You guys will see him because he's actually gonna be coming up, I think within the next 3 pages, I believe. So you guys will get to see him soon enough, and it's really just like a filler spot. It's kind of like you'll see these characters like the Doblins and stuff in future stories because they're like just they're always there, they're always around. Tim, welcome, man. Welcome. All right, I'm actually gonna pull my reference up here because such a bad habit. I always stop doing this. Let's get this. Oops. Oh, that's the old one. Why is that there? Oh, sorry guys, I'm clicking the wrong stuff. All right, let's bring it over here. Let's get our reference. You know what I just realized the whole time? Well, yeah, I guess so you guys can see the reference too. I was like, I could just hide it here. You guys would never see it and it's out of the way, but I wish you guys would be able to see this stuff too. Okay. Just so I can see, because we have to paint in his war paint. It's not too complicated, but cool. Let's, all right, let's get on with it. Down to panel 2. This one's gonna be like probably the longest page to flatten, just because it's a lot of the same stuff, which is great, like these little goblins and stuff like that, which is cool. But the other ones are just like, I guess, the cheesy kind of close-up shots all the time. All right, what the hell are we doing? Okay, let's get. We need our friend here, the background. Panel 2. Just start Frankensteining some of these pages together. So what are you guys doing today? You guys just enjoying the day off, or you guys got projects you're working on or anything? You guys better be drawing along. If I find out you guys are just watching, some shit is gonna happen. Oh, speaking of shit, I forgot to set my timer. Bad guy, bad guy. Online timer. Let's get this going. And to update you guys as to why we're getting back into the timer, I haven't shown you guys this in a while because I haven't been using it, but it's what I talked about or what I alluded to before we started here. So it's just a timer to keep track of stuff. Here, I'll just put it on screen in a sec. Right here, this guy. If you guys remember this, you can say I stopped doing it in April. So it hasn't been that long, but it just calculates all the times it takes that I've put into each phase of a page. Most of you guys probably won't do this. And again, the reason why I did this was to keep track right here. This is the average time it takes to do a page from start to finish, 5 hours, which seems really super short. And it is. But remember, I'm not just doing a page and then stop, page and stop. I'm trying to do 3 pages in a week. So it's really, and it's not saying it's just 5 hours. Sometimes it's four, sometimes it's eight, right? But the average is five. Because you can see, like, just check it out. So, like, coloring, right? Like what we're doing today, on average per page from start to finish, so like the flats to the actual finish. Sorry, one second here that I clicked this. Oh, they changed it? Yeah, I'm trying to put it in. Why won't you? What are you doing? Computers. Timer. There we go. All right, let's get that going. Anyway, the whole point again of this was that's the average, right? So if you look, I can quickly look up here. This is the average. It takes about 1.8 hours, so we'll just round up to 2 hours to flat a page and add shadow to it, which is actually pretty low. So if I've got 3 pages to do here, I could go, all right, if I'm just coloring today, which I am, 6 hours should finish that, okay? And then those pages will be wrapped up. But if you look, this is the individual times, right? Like, look at this one. These only took like an hour to do. Then this one took 3 hours. This one only took like half an hour to color the whole thing. So that one must have been super short. You know what I'm saying? So they jump around. So they can go anywhere from a half hour to 3 hours. So there's a big difference there. But the average works out to this stuff, which is great. And this also lets me keep myself on track, saying like, yeah, but it's only around 5 hours to do a page. So if I don't hit those goals, that means I'm not putting at least 15 hours into the project a week, which is unacceptable, right? So that's why I'm getting back into this, just to keep my my ass in check. So the timer I've got going, all that good stuff, because we keep slacking around. We've got too much work to do. There's just too much work going on, you know. Actually, let's close this. We don't need you anymore. Cool. Monochrome has a class today. Class on Saturday, really? 1 to 4. Exilian, how's it going? Welcome. Welcome, welcome. You know, if we play our cards right, what I'm hoping, because this one's really like the longest or the biggest page. I'll show you the other pages we got to work on. Inks. Actually, I'll get these set up. Now, if you look at these, they're. Oh yeah, you guys didn't even see how they turned out. Sorry. So we inked this one. Let's turn the text off. Right. This, like, you can see how much, like this. There's less work here. Trust me. Okay. It might not look that way, but there's less because there's no background. There's just characters. Those pages go quicker. Even happens even worse here. This page actually turned out a lot. I added a lot more shadow into this one because I need Jesop to feel way more intimidating than he probably has been. Right. So if you look, right, like if we take Jesop out, like the inking here, it's very simple stuff. Might not look it, and I'm not trying to downplay work and effort and stuff. It's just, you know, these are going to move a lot quicker because they're just big, it's simple little things that we're coloring here. So what I'm hoping is we can finish these and then get back to the Zangief picture, if you guys remember that. Started that like 4 days ago, and it's kind of getting to that backlog part where it's like it's never going to get done. We don't want that. So I'm going to get these prepared now that I have them open. Hey, Inkbot, welcome. Oh, you're about to head out? Ah, sorry. Hey, what are you going to do? Are you going to leave? Are you going to stay, bud? No, I'm just joking. Monochrome is, oh, you're taking an online drawing course with Steve On? Is that his name? He storyboarded for Ben 10, Legend of Korra, and was the art director in Voltron Legend. Oh my God, that's awesome, man. Oh, so, like, are you paying like around $1,000? Is it one of those things? If you are, please let everybody know in the chat, and I'll talk about it again for people watching the YouTube stream, because those things have always interested me. Like, I'll look at, like, let's say Bobby Chew, like schoolism stuff, and they've got the two options. Usually it's like $1,000 around there to have like the online course, which lets you hear the instructor live and sort of talk about them or show them stuff and all that. And then the other one's around like $100 for like the downloadable videos. And I've always wondered like how much worth it is to do one over the other, you know? I'm sure it is. It's different when you're talking to an instructor, right? 600. That's not bad at all. It's not bad at all, man. So what is it? You're learning storyboarding then, or what kind of class are you doing? Inkbot, I'll stick around here for a few minutes. Okay, yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Okay. All Alright, so we leave this here. So what we do is now that we have our inks done, right? I just want to show you guys how we prepare this stuff, so you guys can kind of piece together this sort of thing. So we're gonna have to edit. Nope, sorry. Layer, combine selected. I've just got the inks and the line art, right? Then I go to just to show you why I'm gonna do this. Okay, so if I fill this with like, let's say we fill the background with like this red. That way things can pop out. Okay, just give me 1 second to let's make it color. I just want to show you why. So you see all these white specks? What these are is when you're just working in black and white, instead of erasing, you can just use white to paint over your effects, right? Which is awesome, which is great, because it just speeds things along. You don't always have to use erasers and stuff. You can just draw around. Sorry, it's figure drawing mostly. 600 isn't that? No, that's a great price. Good job. Especially if you learn a lot from it. I think a lot of people, they assume, like, when you look online, like, let's say it's a painting course by somebody you actually like their art, and it's like, let's say it's $1,000. You look at it and you're like, that's too expensive for me. I'm out. If you think about it in these terms anyway, of yeah, it's expensive, but instead of going to art school, not that some people don't, some people do both, but let's say you don't go to art school and you spend, let's say art school costs you, I'll just throw it a 5 grand, okay, over 3 years. Okay, we'll just accept that. It's gonna be probably more with like food and all that stuff, but let's just say 5 grand, right? And you don't maybe you're kind of geared towards comics or like concept art kind of stuff. In my opinion, I mean, there's a lot really good with school. You can talk to people, network, socialize, be in the same room with artists, which is powerful stuff. On the other hand, for $5,000, you could go around the internet, cherry pick what you think is the best things that would directly help you, and I can guarantee you your education will be better for that for most people, not everybody. Everybody's different, but you imagine that for $5,000 you could get these who you look up to, right? Like they might not be art teachers. Like if Joe Madureira had a figure drawing class or a concept art class, I would pay. I wouldn't even think twice. I would pay to be in that so that I could see him draw in real time, and if I could show him my art and he critiques it, to me, I would gain a lot personally for that, as opposed to going to an art school where they could have an established art teacher, somebody who's in the industry and they're kind of done with that world and they want to just settle down a bit or whatever, right? And they'll still help you. They'll be great. They'll be tremendous artists. But the difference is they have a curriculum to follow, right? Whereas this other stuff is specified, specific, directed, contextualized lessons, and that for a lot of people has a lot more value. The difference is the pressure is more on you to actually act on it.
Welcome, and thank you for the follow.
Thank you for the follow. I don't know how loud this is, guys. How did you guys even hear that at all? Victor Hugo Patrasa. Welcome. I apologize for butchering the hell out of that, but thank you. I appreciate you following. Where'd you come from? YouTube, Twitch, anywhere. Leave it in the chat. Let everybody know where you came from. And again, please, everybody, let me know how that audio is. The audio is always everywhere. Anyway, so I hope you can see what I'm saying, right? Like if $1,000 could suck, and it's up to you to discipline yourself to sit down and show up and make that money worth it. Whereas I do believe that with art school and stuff, of a lot of us, myself, this is what I did. It's like I want to do something in art. There's an art school, animation in my case, literally in my hometown. Let's just do that and see what happens, because I want to do something with art, but I'm not sure yet. We can still continue school and learn and think and do all that stuff. And that still helps that cycle go on. But when you start doing independent teaching and learning and studying, it's different. It is different. It's almost like you have to put your I don't want to say that. It's a different thing. It's a different thing, and there's no pros and cons for anything for all that stuff. Anyway, I'm all over the place. I need to get back to this, but it says Gumroad because classes are filled. Historical class has slots. Okay, interesting. That one was $700. I would take the next after these classes. He does draw over your work and explains you need your, but your art is in the top 3 slots. See, okay, got it. Got it. And a lot of these teachers, right? They they have jobs. This isn't the only thing they do too, right? Okay, so let me just get cut up there. It's kind of loud. I jolted while drawing. Okay, and I think that's because there's no there's no music in the background, so when it pops up, it's harder to hear. Okay, let me turn down this. Actually, here, you guys let me know. I'm going to do a test follow here. I think we can do. Let me try it here. And I'm counting on you guys to help a brother out here. Okay, so I'm going to hit, it's like a random follow thing. You guys will hear the sound. Just let me know if it's better now. Because every time it hits, I'm like, whoa. Just blast. All right, you guys let me know. Okay, back to this. So, like I was saying, this book here, again, I swear to God, we just have to have it everywhere. The DC Comics Guide to Digitally Drawing Comics by Freddie Williams. Buy it, pick it up, read it, go to the library, get it, check it out. If you're interested in how I work, check it out. So what he recommends, and this is why I do it, is you can just, since we're working a black and white medium, you can just ink in black and white. You don't need to erase things, okay? Now, in Clip Studio Paint, when it gets time to color, the problem is now that you have white and black, look at it, right? Like, look at all the white areas and stuff. I can't. How do I draw underneath that, right? You could set it to multiply, which is totally fine. It gets rid of the white. That's great. But the problem is if you wanted to color your line art. Now, not everybody needs to do this. I like to do it in this one, right? So in order to do that, and this also works for if you scan in an image, right? So it's got like white background and all that stuff too from the paper. Hey, Pop, how's it going, buddy? Welcome. So all you need to do is just go up here to edit. Let me see. I don't even know if this is showing up. Let me see here. Okay, so go up to edit. And right here, convert brightness to opacity. And make sure you're on your ink layer. And what that does is all the white makes the opacity, if I can speak, basically gets rid of it. It's not there anymore. It's gone. Now you can still see it in the special effects here because I have that turned on. I'm going to deal with that later. I don't have to worry about that right now. But anyway, that way I can go in here, right, and I can pick my light blue. You guys might not be able to see it. Here, we'll do this. We'll delete this. So now that I've done that, if I lock the layer and it's still in color, I can fill it. And if I want, my lines are now this kind of color. This really only looks nice. Not looks nice, but you can use it for like energy effects or, if you like a black and white artwork, like traditional comics, but you're coloring and you want like energy blasts or red eyes for a Terminator or something like that. You can do those kinds of things. Mine, it's kind of like this off. It's blue. It just softens things up just a little bit because of the color style that I have. Most people probably aren't going to do this kind of thing, okay? So don't worry about that. All right, so we got that. Let's go to edit. Image resolution. Yes, we got to go to 300 dpi because my computer can't handle coloring at 600 dpi. So were you guys able to hear that follow, that last one? Did you guys hear that at all? I didn't know if you guys could tell me how loud that one was. It should be better. Okay, colors. Uh-oh. I think. Yeah, let me check something. I gotta go to my hard drive. I overwrote my inks file. I just got so excited. Art. Comics. Personal. Jesop. Webcomic. Alright, let's see if I was a good boy and I updated this last night. Inks. There we go. Alright, let's open this. It's the file we're working on, but I accidentally saved the color version over it. So I have an external hard drive that I back up every day, just in case some shit like this happens where I slip up and I overwrite a file or something. So we're going to go into inks right here. We're going to save over that. Yes. Cool. Okay. So this one is done. Close that up. All right, let's get this one ready here. All right, so same thing. We're going to grab our inks and our line art layer. We're going to layer, combine selected layer. It's good? Okay, cool. Thank you, sir. All right, so it's all combined. Let's lock it. We're going to make it like a light. What? Oh, I didn't lock it. That's why. What? Forgot. I spent all that time telling you guys about converting opacity, white to opacity, that I just totally forgot to do it there. All right, so that should be good now. Now we can fill it with like this blue. Cool. Let's go to edit, Image resolution, knock that down to 300 dpi. 300 dpi. I might actually change the panel border color here too. I'm not sure because it's kind of getting lost a little bit in here. I don't know. I'm just thinking of some stuff. So let's save this up into colors. That way these are all ready to go. I don't got to noodle around with that, you know. Yeah, close. See you later. Let's get back to it. Filling all these little spots here. Start painting some rocks. Does that sound fun? Painting rocks. Okay, Nabu is saying, how much do people charge for commissions? Is 20 USD for a full colored single character too much? I was do you guys watch the Box Office Artist on YouTube? I hope you guys do. If not, go check him out. Wonderful channel. I've never met the guy. He seems like a nice guy. That exact question was asked over there like last week. It was kind of interesting. And he asked me too what my thoughts on it were, which was didn't expect that, but so the way, and he had some great points, and I'll bring them up now. The ones that I can remember. Basically, you know, it's okay. One thing to keep in mind. Okay, just one thing to keep in mind is you can charge whatever you want to charge. You want to charge $1,000 for a single thing, you can do that. If you want to just do it for $20, you can do it for that. You can do whatever you want. All right. So there's two other things I'll add on to this, okay, or that I would just like to, you know, bring up about this, is that there are a lot of artists that offer commissions, a lot, and just like everything else in the world, it's a what's the word? It's a demand and supply problem, right? And it's an issue of that. So if you want to buy something and you go to the store and you see batteries, and there's batteries there, you got Duracells for $10, and you've got no-name brands for like $2.50. Why are you spending $10? They're probably the same. Maybe they don't last as long. Who knows? But you could probably buy 3 or 4 packs of batteries, and it would, you know what I'm saying, right? So they go different ways. Now, the thing is, when people come to you for a commission, what I personally like to do, before I get into that, if you need the money and you want to just do $20, like I agree that's too low. That's a lot of work, you know, that you're going to be putting into that. Possibly, I don't know how fast you work, but if you need money, you got to do what you got to do, right? So if you got to cut your costs and stuff like that, because $20 to you means that you actually get maybe a little extra food that week, that's a whole different story. Let's assume this isn't necessarily about money. This is about, you know, not money for survival. This is just like extra money to go into the bank account to buy some nice stuff or to save. You know what I'm saying? So it's that kind of stuff. That's where I'm going with this one. Okay, is if people are coming to you for a commission, they're coming to you because you're a Duracell. This is a horrible analogy, but your name brand. I don't care if you've never been published before. If somebody's coming to you, then they either A, like what you do, or B, they're just looking for something cheap. Okay? And they know you're an artist, so they're just going to ask you for something, right? If that's the case, probably pass. What I would do, is don't be worried about offending people, even if they're a friend and they're like, I don't know about any of you guys. How many of you in here have like, you're the artist in your little social circle, and people are always asking you for like, hey, could you draw like I don't know, can you draw my friend's cat, my mom's cat, as a gift for like a birthday or something, like just weird shit that you probably wouldn't do, but because you're an artist, they can't look and go like, oh, you're a comic book artist, which is different. They just see you can draw and do stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just price yourself at what the professional you would charge or say. Okay, so an example would be like, let's say you just said $100 right now. Let's just say you said $100. You might think that's like, holy shit, because John or like Jim Lee, they charge only like, let's just say another professional artist that's done like Ninja Turtles or something, and they charge $100 for a commission. So you're like, but I haven't done Ninja Turtles, and if I say $100, I know I'm not as good as these people, and like, so you start valuing yourself compared to other artists. In my opinion, anyway, that's the wrong way of thinking. You should be charging what those people are charging and just see what happens. You could get no's right across the board, but if you get yes once, then it's confirmation that yes, it's possible, okay? And the reason I say that is because we're all different. Everybody in this room that draws, let's just say somebody comes in here and says, I want to commission somebody in this room for a Venom. The problem with that question right off the crack is that person's not coming to you asking you to do it. They're just saying, hey, artists, here's some money. Whoever wants to work the cheapest gets it. And that there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to be that artist, you can be that artist. There's tons of people that'll pay you for that. And don't be ashamed. You know, you're gonna get a lot. You're gonna grind through commissions, and you're gonna be making a lot of money, right? On the other hand, you could sort of demand better quality from your fans by demanding more money. I know that sounds greasy or weird, but just think about this, guys. If you don't consider yourself as like a precious resource, people aren't going to treat you that way. And I'm not talking about keeping your nose in the air or saying you're superior to other people, anything like that. You know, if Jim Lee charges 100, does that mean you charge 500? I don't care. Do what you want. It's you, right? You're the only person that draws like you. I don't care what level you're at. Even, you know how like there's a lot of like people learning how to draw and they all kind of draw kind of the same. You know, and that's not a slight against people at all. It just there's a lot of flavors that, you know, like styles of art. Okay, I've seen people draw. I have seen people draw that look like, you know, they're still in high school and they're getting good cash. Okay, and props to them because they've marketed themselves and they're going out there and getting these things, right? But it still surprises me. Not that I don't think they deserve it, but I'm just like, wow, you know, like, okay, all that kind of stuff. So, again, in my opinion, to answer your question, I know it was a really long way to get there and it really wasn't an answer, but if this isn't because you need money to survive right now, if you need money to survive, do the $20. It'd be stupid not to. You know, instead of going to your day job, or in addition to going to your day job, you're also hammering out a commission, which gets you extra money that you need. Take it. I don't care if people are saying that's way too low or anything. Take it. If that's not the case, you know, ask for more money. If they say no, they say no. You know, whatever. So start posting around on your Facebook and Twitter and stuff saying you're open for commissions, and you never know who's gonna bite. You know, and if you're nice to people, sometimes they'll come back. If you get that's what they call in video game terms a whale. Is you're out there fishing, right? And you're getting minnows and you're getting all this stuff. But eventually you get a fucking whale, and those whales, they give you big money and they keep coming back. Those people are the most important person in your creative business life. 100%. Take care of them. Throw them a random free print from time to time. Throw them a sketchbook. Reach out to them, email them. How you doing? You know, stuff like that. That's how you build this stuff, you know? Anyway, I'm going all off on another tangent here. But anyway, I hope that answered your question. There's no wrong or right answer in any of this. It's very specific and it's unique to each of us, I believe. Just know that, again, if I wrap it up, and I've said this a bunch of times, so I'll shut up, is compare yourself to a name brand product, even if you haven't made anything yet. This could be the thing that starts you into letting people know you make stuff. Okay? And yes, there's some dues to pay in the beginning. I believe that for sure. But you just don't get mad if nobody pays you $100 for like a commission, okay? Just know that and start asking why and all that, and try to get. Obviously, you're gonna get better at drawing. Anyway, I'm all over the place. I hope that answers your question. Pop says he charges $6 trillion per scribble. Oh man, that's amazing. That's amazing. Art by Anthony. Hey, welcome, buddy. I know Scott Rosima. He's a friend of mine. He told me the same thing. Really? Okay. Well, there you go. I'm not familiar with that gentleman. I apologize. I don't know people's names. Even people that are in like comics or illustration. I know like a few people like that I know. Not that I know, but that I've tried to check out their stuff. But a lot of people throw names out, and I don't know them. But okay, I'm assuming it's on the same level, right? We're all kind of talking about the same kind of thing. There's a lot of that, like, you know, you don't screw yourself. Like, a lot of this stuff takes time, you know, and the more you do, the faster you get. So all that comes into account too, for sure. You know, just gets better. Just gets better. Just draw, guys. Just draw. If you can make any money, I will say this: if you can make any money drawing, you're already very successful. Just consider that, okay? All right, we gotta draw some of these buildings in the BG. He worked at Marvel, DC, and other places, and did a ton for Space. You know what? Okay, that guy sounds cool. Well, anybody that's been published, right? Like I'm glad he's agreeing with what I'm saying. So, so at least I know I'm like in good company. I'm not like just telling myself some crap that's probably not right, but I just keep believing it. Um, is Space Ghost? I've never really read it, but the design, I love that design. It's like this simple superhero thing, and I don't know, it's just really cool. Let me try. So I'm gonna just try turning my tech sound off. See if that. I know you guys are probably getting blasted with it. Is that too? Yeah, that's fine. What did it do? Question for you guys, and any ladies that are in the chat, or if you guys are on YouTube, this always goes out to you guys too. So there's a book called The Secret. The Secret. That's where I first heard about this stuff. But you guys know I try to, which is funny because it's not really like I wish I was better at this sort of stuff. But like productivity and blah 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 blah, right? Like okay, we had enough, John. We hear you all the time talking about how do you maximize your time and all that crap, right? It's just little excuses to try to get better at tackling stuff so you can get more. And you know, if any of you guys out there feel like you wish you could get more done, um, and you complain about it like I do, then this is where this sort of talks. If you're happy with your life, yeah, you know you're trying, you're putting in the grind, you're doing your thing, but you still enjoy it and stuff like, then you're fine. You don't have to worry about this stuff, right? Because you're not stressing out about it like me and other people. However, so I first heard about this thing in the book, The Secret. And I don't like that book. I think it's shit myself. But they talk about this thing. It's sort of like the more you think about stuff, the more like the law of attraction, basically, right? What is it? Like attracts like, right? So the meaning of that would be like if you enjoy and you surround yourself with, or sorry, if you try to be happy with everything that's there, you can't, you know, like somebody dies in your family, you can't just be like, okay, well, I'm gonna smile anyway. You know, they were great. It's like you know what I'm talking about. In the majority of your time, you always try to be happy and productive and moving forward. You'll start to attract things that are similar like that. You know, people that are happy and your go-getters, that kind of crap. Things can tend to come into your circle that give you opportunity and stuff because you're working. You're still working hard to get those things. It's not just like you sit on your couch just smiling at the TV and then like opportunity shows up. It's not that. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with drama and you're kind of attracted to drama, like ooh, like who died this week, or oh, who's doing right, you'll get more of that around, right? What I'm getting at is I just keep hearing this coming up more and more and more and more, and it's been around for a while. Do you guys believe in that at all? Do you guys like? Do you guys subscribe to that? Does it sound like I was telling my brother? I was asking him, what do you think of this? Does it sound like mumbo jumbo? But I wanted to reach out to you guys because I think there's definitely something there. You know, I remember if you guys have ever read Tony Robbins, I think he was the first guy that I started getting into about this stuff. And you know, I did my best to kind of, I didn't do my best, but I tried doing some of the exercises and stuff in there, but like I just kept falling off track and stuff. But I did notice some things were coming from it for sure. And one thing I remember doing is they would call, what was it called? Ah, damn it. I can remember the name. What was it called? It was like I don't know the name of it, but just hear me out. It's kind of like you close your eyes, like meditation in a way, but it's like you're basically you see yourself where you want to be or whatever, right? And you sort of like pull yourself back so you see yourself where you were. and you just sort of project like where you think you're going and what you want, and then you start doing other things where it's like, I guess it's kind of like maybe a self-fulfilling prophecy, maybe that, where you kind of like, I did this too, and this is actually before I had this, I got the standard. It was funny how that came up. So I don't know if it's proof that it works. It could just be like, all right, just good timing. I don't know, but I remember that I wanted to, I wasn't 100% in this for sure, but I remember doing this because I wasn't totally clear on the goal. I would, every time I would go to bed, I would, and my girlfriend at the time, she thought it was the dumbest shit ever. So I always did this like out before getting into bed, kind of thing, like on my own, because I guess she just thought it was weird. Doesn't matter. But it was, I would grab a comic book. I don't even know what it was. It didn't even matter the comic book. You grab anything. I closed my eyes and I would envision on the front. It was like Spider-Man or X-Men, or I wasn't even super clear what it was. It was just like it was a comic book and it had my name on it, right? And I would just, your eyes are closed and I would just touch it and feel it. And I was trying to make it real, right? I would smell it. I wouldn't taste it. You guys are sick. I wouldn't do that. But I'd smell it. I'd feel like I'd feel it, I'd feel it. I'd make my senses as much as I could, the ones that I was participating in, as real as possible. And then I would flip it. And I would probably take like 5 minutes. And I would see a comic in front of me that I drew, but I didn't see the details. It was just the idea of it, right? And I was not reading it, but it kind of reading, like ghost reading it kind of thing, right? And then you'd flip the page and I'd do that. And all the end, I'm smelling the pages as I was trying to make my brain, because this is where it goes. This is apparently the science. Is your brain doesn't know what's real and what's not real. As crazy as that sounds. So if you lie enough to yourself and literally believe it, it's funny. George Costanza had something like that. He said, it's not a lie if you believe it. And your brain, I guess, actually works in some way like that, where it's, if you believe it enough, it's real to you. It's real. It can't not be. Your brain is convinced. And what that does is it sort of starts a ripple effect of like just how you carry yourself and how you talk about yourself. I know when I would say, people would ask me, "So, hey John, what do you do?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I work at EB Games and in the dollar store." And the comic books was the last thing I would say. It was just kind of like not an embarrassment, but since I wasn't working at Marvel DC kind of stuff, it was like, why even talk about it? Nobody cares. Oh, what's an indie comic? I don't want to explain to you, As opposed to just saying comic book artist. And they'd be like, oh, really? Where do you work? Like, where? And then I would feel like obliged to be like, oh, it's just like some fun stuff, like an indie comic. And people just sort of like put it on like a shit level, But anyway, needless to say, I did that for probably like a month. And I was still looking for work at the time. And then that's when I got an email from John Lees, who turned him on, who turned John on to my art was Stephen Forbes, who's an editor on or it was part of a website called Digital Webbing, and I guess he had seen my art that I was posting around, and he, kind of like made me aware. Anyway, so John offered me like it was like a 6-issue miniseries or whatever, and like that's pretty much as close to full time as you can get. Besides going to like a big publisher, like in indie stuff, that's pretty hard and pretty rare to get. But I didn't think about it until like years after that I actually had done that. Anyway, I'm I'm rambling like usual, but I'm just wondering what you guys think about it. Do you guys think that stuff's real? Do you think it's just like, it's more in your head than not? Do you think it's just like you know, it's just something you're telling yourself that I don't know. Let's see what you say. Den Hansen, how's it going, my man? Is saying, I don't believe in fate or karma, etc. The only impact you have on life is how you react, what is happening around you. Okay. So the only thing that I'll say to that, and I'm not trying to get into a debate with you guys or anything, because I agree with what you're saying, is with that kind of idea, I wonder if like with what you're saying, where it's, and I agree, react to what's around you so that you don't get surprised by stuff. But does that forfeit like proactivity? Like I'm going to go get it, or I'm going to make this real, as opposed to like, okay, this is my situation, and I'm gonna make it work for me. Maybe they work in tandem. I'm not sure. No, I think you notice more of what you're attracted to. In other words, like driving down a road every day of your life, you just don't notice all the stores. But if you love sushi, you're going to notice the sushi joints. Others that don't love sushi won't notice it. It's all in your head, in other words. Okay, that's a good analogy too. Art by Anthony is saying, "Fake it till you make it." Pretty much, yeah, that works too. Nabu, it sounds like a mantra you do to remind yourself not to give up or to remember your passion. Could be. It could be. Hey, Rainbow Bright. I don't know if you missed an interesting story. We're just talking about like the idea of uh, like attracts like. So if you're clear on what you want, you just consume everything around you to think about that stuff. It's sort of like things will start to come into your life that are similar to that. You still have to work hard and stuff. It's not like you can just like screw off and just like have this stuff happen to you. Yes, it's the world's telling you not successful at something. The reaction could be give up, work hard at it. Yep, you're right. Hmm. Oh, needless to say, here I'll show you guys. So what I'm trying to do, I feel like maybe that was trying to like ask for like approval or something. But what I did is I have this on my phone now. You guys know how I like to do these lame wallpaper things, right? I don't know if Bruce. I think Bruce Lee was one that said this. I just put like some fancy background on there. But let me just switch this up here. There you go, so you guys can read it. Can you guys see it? Come on, webcam. I know you can do it. I believe in you. As you think, so will you. Oh, sorry, so will you become. Yeah, it's sharp and then it goes away. Anyway, so I see this all the time, so that I'm always aware of it. And I like that idea. It sounds really cool. Like and again, I do think there is something about it. It just sort of like focuses more of your attention, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting in my own head about it. And I know like this sort of stuff, a lot of people don't subscribe to, which is fine. I wouldn't say everybody has to. Everybody's entitled to their little thing. But I just thought it was interesting. What layer is this? That one. Magical thinking isn't going to create anything for your life. It's more about making some people keeping a positive mindset while attempting. Yeah, I mean that's what I was saying. I suppose is that it's like, yeah, be the change you want to see in the world. Yeah, I remember there's like a Michael Jordan, jeez, Michael Jackson song where he was talking something like that too. I don't know if it could be magical thinking. I could see what you're saying with that. The way I go about this stuff myself, anyway, is the more you can surround yourself by things. And you know what the hardest part is knowing what it is that you want. I think. I do believe in everybody's different. Everybody's always different. That's why all this stuff is always out there. There's always new little tricks or infomercials or gurus or all this crap. So everybody's different, and not every shoe fits for everybody, right? Uh, but that whole idea of surrounding yourself with like-minded stuff so that you never really forget what you're doing or focus on what you're doing. I think it's really hard to, or it's very common to sort of forget the why you're doing stuff. That's why I try to. It works for me. That's why I keep telling you guys about it. Is to remind yourself why. And I think one of the hardest and trickiest things to get out of, which is leading into all of this, is just that. It's that you forget why you're even doing stuff, and your reason why for pursuing something, let's say comics or a life in art, whatever the hell that means, is that you don't really know why you're drawing. It's just better than a 9 to 5, so you draw. Right? That was me. It's like, so what do you want to be? I just want to do something with drawing, and that's not true because like I've had a couple jobs now where I'm just drawing, and I can do it, and some of it's fun, some of it's enjoyable. For a good chunk of it, it's just like I'm still not happy. I'm still like stuck in that same like, all right, well, it's still work. It's just a different kind of work. It's better than like lifting heavy weights and stuff that's not art related. At least I'm drawing and stuff. That's all cool. That's all good stuff. But at the same time, it's like I'm still not satiated though. Like I still feel the same as when I was working. Not 100%, but I don't feel as noticeably more excited to do something that I'm not really interested in. And I know that we're not. There's nothing in life that guarantees or promises us that any of us should get those things. Anyway, yeah, you're right. Yeah, whatever works for you, you know. Nabu, if you lie to yourself too much, you won't be able to face the truth. That's why we need to always stop and tell ourselves the brutal truth. Oh yeah, 100%. I'm a big believer of that. Just give me 1 second here. I got the heat on for some weird reason. Okay, just adding what Pop was adding. Absolutely, like you think you want to be a comic artist, and you do, but when you become one, you get a contract. You're working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, eventually possibly burning out. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. And it's funny because that goes into some of that stuff I was saying before too. Is like if you're lucky enough to know what it is that you want to do, just go all in. You know. No, excuse me. I'll eventually learn Jessop's costume. I can't. I always forget like if this little area right here is white. This little like strip probably should be. Hmm. Oh well. Anyway, that was just some of the stuff that was on my mind lately with that. It's interesting stuff. I think there was I forget the video I saw that was kind of going around. I'm following so many channels on YouTube that are like this kind of stuff. I love this stuff. This thinking of like actively being aware of what you're doing and what you're spending your time and emotion and energy on. Because I do believe that like you can get caught up in stuff that doesn't really matter for where you want to be. You know what you want to be. You just sort of like go with the flow, and I hate that. That's why I say, and this could be a little bit more control freaky, I guess. It's like every week I plan what my I want my week to look like, and it rarely ever it becomes all of what I would like to get done. But ever since I started doing that, I've just felt more calm, I suppose. And when new things come in, I can deal with it better. I don't know. It's just it's different stuff. And I have noticed too by actively trying to be aware of where my time is going, and again the why am I doing this stuff. Personally, I feel like I've grown a lot in art and stuff like that too. Right? Like here's an example. So you want to do comics for a living? Chances are, like, unless you're going to do your own thing, all the way to like a printed comic and all that stuff, unless you're going that far with it, you're probably going to try to work for like a publisher or, excuse me, a publisher or something along those lines, right? And in order to do that, you have to meet editors, right? So if you're not actively trying to be aware of what it is and what you want, that's why I say if you're fortunate enough to know, now let's say in this case again, comics is what you want to do, then life just becomes so much easier because all the things that you're not sure if you're supposed to do, you get to do. So with the comic stuff is like I just said, you're probably gonna have to meet editors. So where are editors? Well, they're at conventions. They have emails. They have Twitters. There's ways that talk to these people. And if you keep going in your own head like you're not ready and all this other garbage that people tell themselves, you just will never act on that stuff. And then, what's that phrase? Someday never comes, right? You're just sitting there, continually waiting. Like I'm just waiting for that chance or that person to see my artwork to get me a job, and like that's so not ever gonna happen. So if you're planning out like, okay, so this week I'm going to talk to 100 editors. Well, how does that work? Are you doing that all on Saturday? Or are you going to try to reach out to 10 or what would it be like 15 editors a day? You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff. Anyway. Okay. Yes, we get to see color today. Yay. Oh yeah, okay. So this is a little update for everybody else in case there's some new people that came in. So we got this page here that we're coloring up, and I'll show you the other two that we finished up. I did these yesterday off stream. I didn't have a lot of time, so I obviously do notice that I draw quicker when I'm not streaming. Oh, okay, I'll show you later. I don't want to. I know I'm I'm moving around so quick here that I'm running out of time. I apologize, you guys. I'm all over the place. Where do we need them? Let's get these guys. We should be able to get all three done today. It might be around like 3 hours. We'll see how it goes. All right, we need these dudes. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, sometimes the dream isn't what you thought it would be. That's great. Yep. Grass is always greener kind of stuff. But again, you know, how would you know how good the dream is unless you actually go and try it, right? So, at least during break anyway. Sorry. So Nordic is asking, so is this comic just a passion of yours or is it a job? I'd say both. I don't get paid for it, so it is a passion thing. I do have a day job, you know, the old 9 to 5 kind of thing. When I come home, as I try to work on this every day, but that doesn't always happen. I suppose the goal long term is just kind of what we were saying. I think it would be cool to one day have a comic job as my job. Yeah, but there's some scariness that comes with that, right? Anything that you want, like again, to me, the idea of waking up and just drawing comics, that sounds amazing. And on the other hand, right, like it's not my. If I could draw my comics for a living, that'd be even better. But at the same time, that's so rare to even happen that, you know, again, it's probably done the publisher route and then maybe after that kind of thing, right? That's the reality, at least. So I think it'd be cool to at least try that out. You know, you never know. You never know what could happen, or if you just hate it, blah blah blah. I don't like living in the fear part of that. Is like I say, sorry, is that when a project's done, do you have a next job after that? There's no benefits. There's no like health benefits. You got to pay for that stuff. You got to be more on top of your shit. You literally it becomes. The moment you're a freelance artist, you become 100% like a business owner, and you're the owner of you. You're the business, right? And that's scary and drives off a lot of people as well. Maybe you have to hire somebody to look after your business, right? Like go find me work, like an agent and stuff. It's not a normal thing, and some people are wired for it, and some people aren't. And some people, which I consider myself, hopefully, is like that you can become that. So there's some people you guys probably know. Maybe some of you guys are that. Probably not, because if you're in here, you're probably working on your own shit anyway. You don't get days off if you're freelance, right? Is that a lot of cats? You get up and you live and breathe like entrepreneurship, which in a way is what an independent artist is. You have to be a business person. You have to pitch yourself and throw yourself out there and try to get new gigs, try to get new jobs, right? That's just the way it goes. Where other artists, I just want to make stuff. I don't want to worry about any of that stuff. I just want to make stuff. But I want to make stuff that I somewhat enjoy. So if that's comics and you're talking Marvel DC kind of stuff, and maybe they give you books, but you still have to push. You still have to let them know that I want more, right? Like that's the business stuff. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of us probably aren't wired that way. You probably have a day job or two or three, or you know, a night job, a gig, whatever you're doing, and a family and stuff. And you're just used to showing up. Somebody tells you what to do, you do it. You punch out, you go home. Maybe you see some work buddies. Maybe you don't even associate with those people, and that's your day to day, right? So the idea of doing freelance stuff scares you, or it's terrifying, or no thanks. I'm not excited to try that at all. But that's again the way that I've seen it. Is that's just the way the business is, right? And that's one of the benefits, right, of knowing. Like, remember, I continually try to tell you guys is your why. Why are you doing this, right? And if, let's say you're wise because comics are what make you excited to do stuff. Great. So guess what the next step is? The next step is asking comic book artists if you can find them. Please, can you tell me what it's like to be you every day? Not like you're so cool, but but stuff like when do you wake up? When do you go to bed? Do you have a family? Don't get creepy about it, but just start asking them like, so what do you do in your spare time? What do you do like this and that? And start to see what an average comes out from different artists and comic book artists. And you can see like that life isn't going to change for you when you become a comic book artist. That's what your life will become, you know? So if you don't like that life, then just be glad you dodged a bullet and you can switch it up and go like, okay, I still want to do art, but maybe what I need to do instead is illustration or cover work. I want more flexibility. I want more time to just go to the beach or whatever the hell you like to do. You know, I want to be able to do some of that stuff. So maybe you're just doing concept art and you're working at a studio. You know, that kind of stuff. That's why I say a lot of that stuff you gotta just think about. Um, really long answer to your question, eh, Nordic? I apologize, man. But yeah, this is just a stepping stone to hopefully show more of where I want to go. The biggest fear I had when I was doing, or where I noticed life was kind of going, was I was running in the same circles, expecting change, which is the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, a different outcome. So if I want to do comics, at least give comics a good solid shot. If you looked at all my all my stuff, even my channel, my YouTube stuff, all that, I'm just making art. But I was rarely doing comic books, and that's a red flag, right? That's telling me. So do you really want to do this or not? You have to think. Yeah, I think I do. You know, and if the answer is yeah, that's what you want to do, then you got to start. I had to start making changes into what my day to day was looking like. You know, I can't. The money is so much better in a lot of these other gigs, guys. I'll tell you that right now. Like that RPG book that I did, and I enjoyed all the stuff I did. Those fighting cards. I made a whole series of that when we were doing that. All that stuff was a blast to do. Like a blast. I loved doing that so much. I had so much fun, and the money was a lot better. And I wasn't just doing it for that, but to be fair, how long does it take a comic book page? With like city backgrounds and stuff. Like it takes a long time. In the pay, especially in the indie world, it doesn't really pan out, right? An example, let's say it's I get 50 or 60 bucks for inks. Okay, and when I say inks, I mean like pencils and inks and thumbnails, all that stuff, right? So finished page of art. If you do pencils, maybe you get 50, 60 bucks, right? So 50, 60 bucks. And the person I'm working with wants a superhero comic. So let's just say the quality, I'd still put the effort in there like it was a Spider-Man, right? So that kind of stuff, right? Holy hell, think about that. That's like 8 to 16 hours a page. Depends on how crazy it gets, right? And the style. So if you got to work a day job, plus you got like 22 pages of that to do, and the person wants it in a month or 6 weeks or 2 months, like a lot of your time is right in there. Right in there. And that's the reality, right? So again, that's the stuff I was doing, and I just had to stop that because I couldn't feasibly fit that into my life and be happy. I was always not always upset, but like I would take time off to just play games and stuff because I was getting so burnt out and like I felt like it was in a trap. So something had to give there. So I just stopped taking all that work, and then went into the illustration stuff for a little bit. And then I'm like, but what I love about comics is the stories, 100%, and they're cool, man. Like, look at these panels. Like, I know to you guys they don't mean anything, but like, this is fun. You get a whole bunch of guys surrounding this big mustache dude, stupid, and this tentacle girl, what? And these dumb guys with guns. Like, this is so stupid, but it's a lot of fun, you know. And I figure, I got the day job already. I'm not hurting for money. I'm not rich at all. Far from it. But I'm very fortunate in the position I'm in. I may as well use this time to do something enjoyable for me and see what happens. Like put a year into it. Put 1 year of my short life and see what happens. So that's the passion part of it coming out of it, I suppose. There's no idea of money, making money. I don't care about any of that stuff. I have something that takes care of that right now. Like if I lost my job, I can guarantee you stuff would be changing big time. This would be on hold, and I'd be doing whatever I could to get money. Not whatever I could. You guys are horrible. You guys are absolutely horrible. Um, Art by Anthony. Any advice for artist alley? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, you know what? Actually, art by Anthony. Are you still in here? You let me know. Do you follow KNKL on YouTube? Keenan Lafferty. Let me know if you do or if you don't. Regardless, let me pull up a thing. He made a video I think is absolutely probably the best video on tabling at a convention you could possibly get if you're selling prints. If you're selling comics, he doesn't do. He does one. He does his own web comic. But I don't even know really what the hell's going on with that. Doesn't matter. But he made a video that was I thought was excellent, and I'll show it to you. I'll link it in the chat. If you guys are watching on YouTube, just go to Keenan Lafferty, his channel, KNKL. That's easier for you to remember. And look for a video. I'm going to post in the chat for you guys called Artist Alley Tips. It's like a 40-minute video, okay? So if you don't got the time to watch that and you want to know how to get better at tabling and conventioning, but you don't want to watch that, I don't have time. I don't got time for you, okay? Anyway, that's the link. You guys can watch it. Oh, you did see the video? Okay. Okay, cool. So in the context of that, I think that what he says there is pretty much all the golden rules you're going to need to make a comic book or, Artist Alley thing. For me, I've only been to some local shows personally doing my own thing. They weren't that successful. I made my money back at the table, which is all like the best bottom you could get, right? Which is great. And all that stuff. But I remember driving away from one of the last conventions I was at, and I was surrounded by people. And I'm not saying this to like try to hurt these people or anything. I'm just just real talk here. I was surrounded by artists that were just print artists. I'll call them. Or what they seem to be was just all they do is sell prints and stuff, right? And there's nothing absolutely wrong with that. They know their why. They want to make money and all that stuff. Good for them. That's all great. I have the prints I have on my store. Those are there. My sketchbooks. But my table wasn't really conditioned to like make money. I'm asking people, hey, check out this stuff, and it's just very unfocused. But those are that's the price you pay. You got to learn. You got to get beat up, and you come back stronger, right? So what I had to ask myself, this is actually on the crux of starting Jesop. To be honest with you, it's funny how much of this stuff all comes back to this project here. Not that Jesop King is like my the one thing I've been waiting to tell. It's not. It's just it's funny how a lot of decisions, once you figure out what you want to do, everything just kind of funnels back to a decision, and you can just go into it and not have to worry about stuff. So what I remember the drive back, and I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and it was like, if I go to another show, it's got to be for one thing and one thing only. Either I'm promoting a comic that I'm working on, that I've done, not like somebody else has done. I'm either promoting a comic book that I've done, in which case I go into it expecting not to make money, okay? Because advertising and like word of mouth, giving away free stuff, go check my stuff out, it's going to cost money to do that. Or making prints of characters and stuff, like a wall of prints behind me, like in Keenan's video. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. And that would make me money, 100%. Because I know I could make money doing that stuff. Most people probably could. Okay, you just start doing all kinds of different characters, right? So I had just asked myself, like, so what do I want to do? What goes in line with my creative goals here, right? And I kept coming back with, if because it's got to take time to make those prints. I don't have them, right? And yeah, you could probably do a character a day, and maybe over a month. That's like 30 characters and 30 prints and stuff. That's all great. Probably totally do it. But what I kept coming back with was, what is it that I'm trying to do here? And for me, it just kept coming back with, like, I want to make comic books. And comic books are a slow burn. Long, slow burn. Trust me, I've been floating around this scene and not even really in it, to be fair, for a long time now, man. Like, long time. And in a lot of ways, I still haven't broken in, or whatever the hell that means, right? But so just when I just decided, okay, well, if I want to make comic books, like, that means all of my time has to be comic books. Like 80% of my time should be comic books, right? And that leaves very little time to make prints. So that means, right, that I can't go to conventions expecting to make money because I'm not going to have new prints. I'm going to have the old stuff that I have, right? So what do? And what I just decided, myself personally anyway, right, was just to, that's why I'm saying I'm probably not the best person to be talking about this kind of thing. for for me was okay. Well, I can sell my prints online, see how they sell, and they've been selling a lot better online than they have at conventions, which is great. Which is great. Okay, so sell my prints online if I make them. If I do any of that stuff, and focus on making this. And the only time I'm going to go to a show will be a year after I do this, and it's going to be at a loss, meaning I'm going there knowing, expecting anyway, to make no money because I'm not really going to be selling anything there. It's just going to be I'm paying for the booth and the space and using that money as advertisement. I won't even need a table, to be honest. I could just come around with like free like pamphlets or something, buy a day pass or two for a weekend, and just start handing flyers out to people. That's way more effective than people come to my booth and trying to, like there's the fans and stuff, but I'm talking about like local small shows because nobody knows what the hell this is, and all this stuff they need to know who I am, just like you guys, right? I've always heard recently anyway. Always heard recently. That doesn't make sense. What I recently heard again through the Gary V guy was you have to go where the attention is, right? And like where are people going? What are they doing? So if the internet is where I want people, where I think that's where the most attention is, that's where I got to go. At the same time, there's tons of people that don't go on the internet. I don't know who those people are, but there's comic book people that don't just go on, that look at web comics. There are web people that that prefer their comics in paper, right? Sorry, I'm getting confused here. I'm trying to draw. What is it? This guy. Right. Okay. Anyway, so that's what I'm trying to say. Just to back it up. So for the thing, I would just know what you're going in for. If you're trying to sell your own comic book, you can still have prints and stuff behind you. Totally, you can totally do all that. I still recommend it. You never know what people are gonna buy, right? Some people just want $10 small things. Some people want like big wall scrolls, and you never know. Just go in there with like a mission. If you want to go in there to make money, then you need stuff to sell, obviously. But you need a lot of different things to sell, I would say. But still be consistent about it. So prints are the best way to do it. We've all been to a show where you've seen that person that has a wall of prints. So if that's what you want to do, start today and start just moving that stuff. And because you can still sell it online as well as these shows, right? So that stuff will pay off. If you're not looking to make money, if you want to if you have a comic you want to sell and stuff, yeah, shows are still good. But I think it's in your best interest, and I'm still learning all this stuff myself, but currently I think it's in your best interest to go to a show if you're trying to sell your own comic book, expecting or just using the table cost, the booth cost, as a like an investment in advertisement cost, as opposed to this is an investment to make money. Does that make sense? And treat it as such. If people come to your table and you're going, yo, check out my new comic, it's blah, blah, blah. If you buy the check, you get any free print you want. Like that kind of stuff does help for sure. Okay, Naboo. John, will you change if you are popular and get lots of money? I'm going to say no. The only thing that would probably change is I probably wouldn't be able to stream or make video content as much because a lot of it would be under NDA, right? Like, let's say I'm doing Hulk. I can't show you guys Hulk. So I don't know what the hell that world would look like, but I haven't changed from who I am. This is just me. Pop, John, you up to something? I like and want to do more of a cell shaded look, but comic inking lines don't really cut for that. How do you make it look more like that? Do you mean like when you're saying comic book lines? Are you talking about like rendering and stuff? Cell shading works really well with simple art. Okay. I was actually thinking about this in the shower. Here. I'll show you guys an example here. Okay. I'll show you two things that a way to think. I don't want to say this is the rule because there are no rules and stuff, right? But so let's say we're going to draw two styles here. Okay. I'll try my best here. So I'm gonna do a Hellboy. Don't even think I'm trying to do. I'm gonna do like very gross here, just a face. Okay. So try to think of. Thank you for the follow. Oh, that went away. Let me just go back. Let me go back here and check it out. Da, 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 da. Epic Hobo of the Hood. That's a sick name. Epic Hobo, welcome. I appreciate it, man. Where are you coming from? Twitch, YouTube? Appreciate it. Say hello in the chat. Introduce yourself to everybody. Don't be shy. Pull up an art desk. Get that pencil out. Participate. Say hello. But welcome. So imagine, anyway, this is, oh my god, I can't even draw a Hellboy off the top of my head. Okay. All right. So Hellboy's gone. Well, okay, I still need that to kind of be in here. Okay, so imagine it's a well drawn Hellboy. I'm trying to go super. This is horrible. Wait, I missed this. This might make it better. It's not. Ooh, okay. Look like I don't know who the hell this is. Okay, so there's this, and then let's say we're gonna draw. Give me a second here. We'll draw it kind of like my way. I'm gonna try to go a little more simple with this though. I just want to show you a difference here, guys. And this is why, this is actually something that's really important when you're deciding the color. And if you can color in a certain way, your style would look better if it was colored that way, as opposed to, or, sorry, hiring a colorist that would accentuate the artwork. Okay, so here's two different styles. Okay, so this one's mine. Here, I'll even put like some of this in there. Sometimes I'll put like little rendering lines or something like this. Right, like this is the kind of rendering I'm doing nowadays, not the big, Finch style stuff. Nothing wrong with any of that. All right, so there's some details in there. Blah blah blah. Okay, cool. So there's two different styles. Now, the way you color them is, I was about to say it's simple. It's not, but here, let's grab this. I'm just gonna fill it. Whoops. Oh, I see. All right. So we'll have this one, and then I'm going to put this one. This is the worst. There are all the dots. Sorry, it's taking a while here, guys. Just bear with me. I need you to see it. I need you to see it, okay? All right, so when you're working like this, right? Let's say we've got our shading layer. Okay, I'm just gonna make a new layer. We're gonna do the cell shading stuff because it's fun. Put it on multiply, right? I'm just gonna do the same kind of lighting here. Okay, so we're just gonna shade it here, and this is what I would call, what you guys would probably call cell shading, right? It's just usually one or two shades of color. Okay? So I only do shadows. I don't do highlights for the comic. Okay. All right. So let's just say there you go, right? Now I'll do the exact same thing on mine. Look at it. Cool. Wait, let's do another thing to make it just look a little cooler. Yeah, there you go. All right. Okay. So we've got like this stuff, right? So the one on the left looks fine. There's nothing wrong with it. The one on the right looks fine. However, the reason the one on the left, this actually looks, in my opinion, finished, right? Is that it's simple. Everything makes sense. You got a simple line style. You got shading, but there's no rendering. There's no extra lines. It's perfect in its style. Okay, the shading, like the cell shading, which if you look at like cartoons and stuff, it's similar, right? It's a line, and then it's just done. Okay, it's fine. The one on the right, it's fine, but it almost looks too simple. It almost looks like it's missing something, right? So what I do, and that's not to say this is the way to do it. Let me just get my shading color here. Put it back on multiply. You guys know I start to. It's a watercolor brush, but it's basically like an airbrush. I start to soften some stuff up. What I'm doing when I do this is it's immediately making the shadows more complex. Not by a lot, but it's making it complex enough that it looks and feels like there's a little bit extra going on there. Okay. Now, if we do that to the one on the left, you can still do it, right? But what it starts doing is it starts I don't want to say complicating the style of it because it's not really doing that, but it makes it feel different. So what I'm trying to get at is when you're picking your shading or your coloring style, it has to reflect what's going on. Okay, so if you have a super complicated, whoops, here we go. All right, thank you. It's so loud on my earphones. Thank you for the follow, Kuru Flint. Welcome to the club, my man. Appreciate it. How'd you find us? Twitch, Twitter, YouTube's, all that stuff. Okay. Anyway, no, hey, don't worry about it. Thank you for following, buddy. I appreciate it. So what I'm saying is try to think in your mind what helps the artwork, because the artwork is really what matters. The color gives you the mood. So if you overcomplicate the coloring, it could also on sorry, holy shit, I'm all over the place. On complicated artwork, let's say on the right, if I add complicated lighting, it can make it start to really seem more realistic or more busy than it needs to be. It's not clear. Where the one on the left, I could get as rendered as possible, right? So check it out. I'm gonna try to go. Actually, let me pause my timer here because this has nothing to do with the comic. Right. So, So let's go here. I'm gonna make a new layer. Blah blah blah. Color. All right. So let's just say, okay, I'm gonna just show you how I would do this at like my day job or whatever, right? So let's get like an airbrush or something. Should we do the cut and grad? Let's do the cut and grad. It's just easier to see. Actually, here. Let's do this first. So just put like a global highlight here. It's hard to see on this, so bear with me. Let's actually put it under our shadow. That way it looks better. Right, so we're gonna cut. You guys see this all the time in comics for sure. So what I'm trying to get at though is like this style of coloring is great. It looks awesome. It looks cool. There's a style to it and stuff, right? But when you start adding too much of this style of stuff on the one on the right, it gets lost and it gets super busy. Everything starts looking hyper gloss. Everything just starts to look like, not that there's anything wrong with it. Again, do you for sure. But again, to me, I would say try to just think of like what's going to help the coloring, right? What's going to help the total package? Is it just like clear line art? What is it? What is it that's going to help, do whatever it is you're doing? Hell, let's even get a little more crazy here. Let's do what everybody loves because it always looks awesome. Let's do bounce light. Ooh. Maybe we'll do like a little something over here. Cool, You do all this fun stuff. It always looks cool. I don't know if you really have some over there like that, but right, we can even soften this up a bit. So plants, right? Just so you can see it better. Right, so you see what I'm saying? So on the left, because it's such simple line coloring, the line art, you can go as far as you want. You can go rendered to all hell. The one on the right, it's not that you can't do that, but in my opinion anyway, it can get a little bit like muddy because you're adding so much on there. So what I've elected to do anyway, and you don't have to, you could leave it like this, like I do. This, to me, this is fine. You don't need anything. If you want, you could, yeah, I guess you could add like a highlight layer, right? Like if you wanted, just to kind of, where am I going here? You wanted like a trim highlight or something. You could do this kind of stuff. It's a little weird, but you'll see a lot of stuff that's like that. If you want the bounce light in there too, you can still put bounce light on there. That always works. Bounce light always works. Doesn't matter what your style is, right? You could do all this stuff, and it's just simple things. It just helps do the form stuff, right? However, if we crap, let's back all that up. If we start rendering this out, let's see how it looks. I'm sure it's gonna be fine, but and I should add to this as well because I don't think I said it, is that it's another reason why I do color like this for the comic is that it's quicker, right? And since I have to do since I choose to do, the writing and the art, the art, the coloring, like every step of the thing, the lettering, all that crap, like it's hard to find time to like do every stage immaculate. So I think it is wise to always go along those decisions as well. Like, don't bite more than you could chew, kind of thing. I don't know what the hell that highlight is, but whatever. So you guys kind of see where we're going with this. Like, we're rendering it out. We're adding more lines and not more lines, more coloring. And I'll show you guys a couple covers actually that we did like this. Maybe like that. We'll just get our watercolor. Just kind of gradient them in. drama. Whoops, what the hell happened there? There you go. So you see what I'm saying? Like, they both work. I'm hoping you guys can see, because it just, maybe it's me, but the one on the left looks way better than the one on the right, in my eyes, for the style of coloring. Again, do whatever you want to do. Just be aware of the coloring you're kind of doing. So again, look at Hellboy. Look how that's colored, and basically just like a flat gradient. There's no cuts. It's just color. And then look at like I guess David Finch in my mind would be like the polar opposite, where it's heavy black still, but it's still hyper rendered. And look at the way those get colored too. A lot of the times it still gets colored the same where it's filled, but there's like cuts and grads and stuff, and it's because there's more detail in the artwork. Just sort of play around with it and see which kind of take the time to feel what feels good to you, because it's gonna be different for everybody. Okay. Uh, Let me go up there. I think I mixed some of what you guys are saying. Okay. Monochrome Moose is saying he quit his job at Riot to make his comic, but wasn't earning enough, so his comic is on hiatus. He went back to work at Riot. Oh, okay. Cool. Let's see what we get here. Yep, people are willing to spend crazy money at cons, so be there with something to get that money, guys. Pop is saying, "What's the dream book you'd like to work on?" If I could pick any one title to work on, it would be Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles is my dream book to work on. As for Marvel, my dream book would be either. I would enjoy X-Men. I would enjoy Spider-Man. I'd enjoy Captain America, the Hulk. There's a lot of Marvel properties that I would like to work on, for sure. DC, on the other hand, I'm not too familiar. Batman's always up there, but I like Superman better than Batman. Take that for what it's worth. I'd really like to work on a Superman book. Hellboy on the left is epic. Okay, it's with that giant stupid chin, right? There you go. What if you wanted to make it without the lines, without the dark lines? If you wanted to make it without the dark lines, the same rules apply. Same rules apply. Hey, no, hey, don't worry about it, man. Thank you, Dabu. I appreciate that. Red Silver Artist, welcome, man. Welcome to the party. Glad to have you. Okay, guys, let's let's get back to drawing or coloring, I guess, as they say. All right, let's close this up. Do you want to save it? Nah. Get out of here. What are we doing? Where do we leave off? Oh, we're here. Right. Okay. We're coloring these guys' clothes. Do we get everything over there? Yeah. Okay. And I'll add one last thing to the coloring. That's just my interpretation of it. I would recommend, I'm sure you have, if you haven't though, just go on YouTube, type in comic book coloring tutorial, see what people are doing, and see what you like. There's actually one video, I don't know if you guys have seen it. This guy's got a whole series of like different comic book coloring styles. Have you guys seen that video? I can try to pull it up for you if you haven't. And he shows you like the cell shading, the cut and grad, flats, all those things, and he talks about them too and why they work in a lot of ways. If you plan on coloring your stuff, I consider that recommended watching or required watching actually, because he talks a lot about some really quality stuff in there too. How's that looking there? Cool. Thank you, Pop. Forgot to start my timer. Oh, shit. Before we do that, I want to show you guys one other thing I said I was going to show you guys. Art. Let's see what we got here. Commissions. Is it Frank Martin? Yeah, okay. So you guys remember Modern Testament? He posted the cover. Which one would we go for? This one? He posted the cover, so it should be good to show you guys. So I've been doing the covers for his comics or whatever. You guys probably remember them. So this one here, if you look, it's very similar to Jesop King because that's like the direction I'm going now. I'm trying to stop showing high shadow, old school, the way I used to draw, with the rendering and stuff. I don't want to do that anymore. So that's a good thing about Jesop King is it sort of like brings up the style that I would like to give potential clients and stuff, right? But anyway, in here we can just turn off some layers and I can kind of show you guys. we got the devil eye. I don't know what this stuff is. Yeah, let's kill this. Okay. Just trying to delete all these layers that I didn't have here so that I can turn them off. I'm just going to show you guys step by step. Okay. Let's turn all this off. This should be interesting. There's a lot of layers in this one. I don't even know why. Just for a cover, it seems like a gross amount of stuff. Okay, so let me get rid of this and I'll just sort of show you guys here. Okay, so this is the line art, right? It's very simple. We got this big demon dude. I like the way this guy came out. I was really happy with this guy. Maybe we streamed this. I forget. I'm not sure. But anyway, we got this guy. You know, very similar Jesop King style inking. Everything's very much the same. So the first thing I did, I'll actually show you guys the background first. It's not that it's overly impressive. Oops. Okay, let's turn all this off here. Okay, so what I started doing, especially with this, is gradient maps, okay? And I sent off a few versions of this, and he picked what he wanted. So all you do, really, is you work in grayscale here, okay? And once you have the gray values and stuff, it's actually pretty dark on this monitor. A gradient map right here, it replaces those colors. So if you guys don't understand gradient maps real quick, it's basically replacing like whatever value you have of gray, it replaces that value of gray with a color. Okay. See you later, Rainbow Bright. Appreciate you popping in. So like I can show you guys here, right? So this background would look like this if it was blue, if it was a sunset. I mean, these are some of the stock things that come with Clip Studio. And they're really powerful. So I sent him off a few versions before we got into the coloring, right? Like I like this one too. It looks really nice. But you can just play with all this stuff, right? And play with all the color and all that crap. And it dramatically changes what you're looking at. I even like this one. This one felt very like 80s to me. Everything's neon. But anyway, so that's the one we went with. A little bit of hell with like heaven at the top. I don't really like the color on this one, but that's what the client wanted. So the client gets it, right? So I'll turn the background off. We can put that on after. So then all I do here is I just start putting in my flats, which are my selection flats, right? So it doesn't matter the color here. I just need that selection like we're doing right now, right? And then you can see, I guess we're starting with the ball guy in the back. I just start filling in. Oh, that's why I made a new layer for all these things. That's stupid. Whoops. Okay, so he's got his color flats put in. Let's get the next guy. He's got them. And the devil dude. I guess we made them even darker. Okay, I'll save that. So these are they're just flats here. Okay. So the next stage we do is we just add like I'm doing right now is a layer of shadow. Now the shadow might look a little dark. That's because of the background. Let me just turn it on for everybody here, right? And it's still shaded the same way. Actually, I don't know where this guy is. I don't think this guy has shadow. No. Okay, so he's all in shadow, and I added like a layer to even make him more darker. And then I just put basically light highlights on him because I wanted him to feel a lot more menacing than everybody else in there. And then the last thing I did here was just added a couple layers on top of these guys for like some highlights. And I don't normally do this, but for covers, for a comic, for somebody else, usually it makes more sense to put a little bit more time into it, right? Like the bounce lights and the secondary lights and all that crap, right? So we get that. Oh, that's why it looks so dark. So I have some level adjustments on here to harmonize the colors, then a hue saturation to kind of like saturate it a little bit. And I put a couple layers on top for the demon's eye. That's his ref. And that was pretty much it. Oh, and I think, no, that'll be it. And if I put the background back in there, you can kind of see it there, right? So that's really the workflow for that. And it's very similar to a lot of, kind of what we're doing already. But that's why I wanted to show you this because that was like the reflected light that I would add to like this stage, but I don't do it for the comic. Link video. Oh, are you talking about the video for the coloring? All right, how's that look? Cool. Yes. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna send you guys that link so you guys can watch that. I just gotta load up my Evernote to get it, and then I'll be right back. I just gotta refill the water, all that cool stuff. I really gotta get moving on this page. I'm gonna have to start cranking some tunes in here or something. We'll see. We see. Give me a second here. All right. So search Evernote for coloring. Let's see if we get it. First one that pops up. Sweet. Let me send you the first one. So it's a 6-part series for those of you watching YouTube. Yeah, don't care. It's by Lummage, Lummage, and the name of the video is Comic Book Coloring Tips and Tricks, Episode 5, Part 1 of 6. So he has, I guess, 6 different styles of coloring. So usually what you're looking for, something will fall in line of that. Some deviation of it or whatever. Okay, so I'll be right back, you guys. Just give me about like 10 minutes. So take a little stretch break and stuff, and I will be right back. Where are we going here? Okay, be right back, you guys. Okay, well, before I go, 8-Bit Hobo, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it and following. Please leave a description in the chat. Let everybody know who you are, where you came from, if it was Twitch or YouTube, any of that cool stuff, and welcome. And hope you have a good time, man. Okay, I'll be right back, you guys. Okay. Thanks for waiting, guys. Hey, no problem, 8-bit. Thanks for, again, like I said, popping in, man. Okay, so I'm going to have to mute the audio. So when you guys follow and stuff, you won't be able to hear the notification. Sorry. Either way, I'm going to put on some tunes for myself. Got to get the focus going. Because we can't be spending all day on a page, right? That just sounds insane. All right, let's start off with um, listen to some Testament. I know you guys can't hear it, so hope you guys got some music going on or whatever. And feel free still to ask questions and stuff. I don't want to filter you guys out. Just make sure I can hear. Ooh, that song sounds so good. Doom doom doom. Yeah, let's get our timer going. Okay. Oh, for there we go. Sorry, forgot about that. I get everything. Yep. Is cyberpunk a genre you're interested in? Cyberpunk? Yes. A little bit of steampunk too, but not steampunk to the point with like top hats and stuff. Like Final Fantasy VI steampunk. Cyberpunk, yes. Like Shadowrun, I don't know if you ever played that game. That kind of stuff. Hey, welcome and thank you for the follow. Jake Womp, is that how you say it? Welcome, my man. Where are you coming from? You coming from Twitch, YouTube? Say hello to everybody in the chat. Grab an art table, grab a pencil, stylus, whatever you're working on. Draw along. Thanks for jumping in, my man. Or my lady, I don't know. You could be a lady as well. Okay, I think we finally finished this panel. Guess what? We get to do it all over again for the rest of these. Oh, what a long page. Let's get the backgrounds back in there. Juicy. How's it coming along? Yeah. Whoops. Just get some color back here for all these ones. Just get them set up. I'll turn that off. Presto, presto. Alright, let's get the background going. Let's pick some of these colors. I'm just putting random colors in here, honestly, just to break up the background a bit. So it's not all just the same color. What do you guys think? Yeah, let's do it. It's obligatory prints for sale screen. Let's toss that out for a little bit. And feel free, guys, if you had any questions or anything. It's always fun to chit chat while we're drawing. Nabu is asking, will Jesop King gonna have a love interest? Hmm. So far, no, I haven't planned any. Cause he's a machine, right? So I don't. Can machines love? I haven't really thought about it. Long term, I think it's more of a like a friendship story than a love story. So the love is like through the friendship with him and Momo. So far, but we'll see. You never know where writing takes you, right? Free snakes. Welcome, buddy. Are you? Is this your first time coming here too? Some names I'm seeing lately that are popping up. I haven't seen before. When was the last time you worked with a colorist? Out of curiosity, the last time I worked with a colorist was the standard, I believe. So, 6 years ago, maybe around there. But if I'm working on like a client project, most often than not, like a comic book project, I don't color that stuff. It's because everything takes so long to do. If I had to draw like 11 by 17s and color them, like I'd be charging like $400 a page or something. And I don't even really want to do it. Just takes so much time, and then it would literally just be work. So this is different because it's my own thing, right? But Pop, did you color the Ninja Turtle print? Looks great, by the way. Very much. I didn't color it. No, I hired colorists. The only prints that I've colored were the Mega Man one. Out of those ones, um, what is the name of the colorist that did those? Vincent? Cyril Vincent. That's his name. Hire him. He's tremendous. He did. He had like I reached out to him. He was finishing up a project or whatever, and then he gladly jumped on board, and he turned that around like quick too, and did an awesome job. And he's actually, I think, like way too cheap. He should be charging a lot more. Personally, I think he should be hired. He should be doing top books, or not even not top books, but whatever. He should have a job coloring. He did a tremendous job. Free snakes. I've been here a couple times. Or you have? Okay. Getting used to everybody that's coming in. Well, thanks for coming back. Vincent, does he have a YouTube channel? I don't think so. Here, I'll link his Facebook in the chat. One sec. I think he's working on a comic right now. It's pictures I keep seeing. Cyril Vincent. Yeah, there you go. I swear, a tutorial of him coloring Wonder Woman. Maybe he did. I'm not too sure. I believe Will Robson recommended him to me. I think he did a couple covers or something for Will. Either way, hire the guy. If you guys need coloring done, and you're looking to hire somebody, I can't recommend him enough. I will most definitely be going to him in the future if I don't end up coloring my stuff. Because sometimes it's cheaper to hire somebody to color. Like, let's say they charge $100 to color a cover or a print for you. Like, yeah, it's a lot of money, 100%. But if that $100 means that you don't have to do it and you can spend time still drawing other things, then it's worth it. Or it might be worth it. Let's put it that way. Everybody's different. So many little guys to draw here. Holy crap. tomorrow. 8-Bit is asking, do you ever listen to podcasts in your work? Not as much as I used to. I haven't really come across any lately that like I'm super interested in checking out. What about you guys? Do you guys listen to podcasts? Please, I'm always looking for new stuff. I'm always looking for comics ones, but not guys sitting around talking about what comics just came out. I don't care about that stuff. I'm interested in hearing like people that work in comics talking. But I should start listening to some more space ones. That's for sure. I used to listen to I forget the name of it. It was a Space Talk or something. It wasn't Neil deGrasse Tyson's one. It was a different one, and I like listening to that stuff too. But I noticed I listened to a lot of that stuff when I was my first time trying to go freelance, just because like I wasn't getting stimulation anywhere else. So like just listening to I used to listen to the Art and Story podcast when it was still going, like religiously. Maybe even listen to episodes multiple times. I thought it was an awesome podcast. But podcasts only last a certain amount of time, right? And waiting for a whole week to get another one, it just doesn't cut it. You got to find some other ones. So I was listening to some space ones, some nature ones. There's just kind of stuff to have in the background when music is just like, eh. I like listening to information ones too, like conspiracy theory ones as well. It's better than watching TV because you can keep working, you know. Still listen to stuff in the background. No one in mirror. Oh yeah, I never thought about that. Like interview, yeah, interview ones are good too. What are the names? Can you remember any? You throw them out there. Free Snakes. Yeah, or no, sorry. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid and seeing inconsistent coloring on panels would trigger everybody's inner art snob, eh? And you're sort of coming out. Love it. I'll be dead. Comics Manifest is good. Let me write that down. Updates 3 times a week. What? That's insanity. Uh, Podcasts. Comics Manifest. Yeah, my feed's basically art, gaming, and murder. I got art, art kind of. I don't really listen to much as I think I should. Gaming, 100%. Murder, like I'm assuming you're talking about like documentaries or something, like where they talk about serial killers. I find that stuff super interesting. This song is so good. Sorry you guys can't hear it. I just don't want to get in trouble on YouTube. I don't want to get boo boos. Alright, these dudes are pretty much finished. Thank F. Feel the breeze. Cross Contour, my man, welcome. With an appropriate Gutex intro, I like it. Right now I'm listening to a band called, Gunship. The song is Tech Noir. It's probably my new favorite song over the last like a month. I'm not even kidding you. I listen to it like multiple times a day, even on loop. It's straight fire, man. Nabu, art tutorial on people making fun of lolcow in the internet. Usually my lolcow. What's lolcow? Like the bar in Terminator. Like the bar in Terminator. I don't follow. Lolcows are the internet weirdos people follow and make fun of. Oh, okay, I got you. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's the name of the. Yeah. Yes, but it's not a Terminator song, but it's definitely it's a it's like retro wave or synth wave, I believe it's called. So it would fit in that movie, that style of music, but it's not from there. Wow, that was really hard to get out. Tech Noir, yeah, I forgot about that. That was the name of the bar in Terminator. Is that right? Wow. Dark Wave Super. Oh, here, I'll link you guys the song I was listening to. It's on Spotify, so here. Like Carpenter Brut. Carpenter Brut is amazing. Carpenter Brut is awesome. Top echelon. I put him up there with Laserhawk. Definitely Gunship lately. Gunship has been fucking sick. Actually, another. This one's a little bit lighter, but it's still good. Like I like it. Is Future Cop. Boom boom. Boom boom. Boom. Boom, boom. Lunatic friends, I know that you're out there. Yeah. Holy shit, you saw them live? What the are they like just one man bands? I'm assuming? Is it just like a DJ or what? I have no idea how those shows would even be. This panel's finally almost done. Getting there. Whoa. Carpenter Brute is one guy with keyboards, but accompanied by guitarist and drummer. Okay. I wonder if it's kind of like isn't. I always thought this. You guys let me know if I'm right or wrong. Because a buddy in college told me this. Nine Inch Nails is one guy, right? Trent. It's just one guy, but when he goes on concert, a lot of people do this. They'll just hire like the people there. I guess it probably just makes for a better looking show. Pop, John, you ever watch Doctor Disrespect? Oh yeah, Doctor Disrespect's the shit. The name. Get these punk kids out of here. He's amazing. Hey, Inkbot, welcome, man. Yeah, the world's not gone yet. Well, it's probably gone soon, but you know, we got some time. Welcome, my man. All right, I think we're gonna do maybe like this a greenish color for the background up top. Okay, how's that look? Green. Nah. This one's gonna be complicated. Electro swing? No, I haven't. Time zones? Yeah, I bet, man. Either way, welcome, brother. Shit. I listen to this Alice Cooper song right now called Jessie Jane. Or, is it Jessie Jane? Is that it? Let me see. Yeah, Jessie Jane. I've never heard it before, but sounds like a Western song. Something it's sick. I don't like Western. You know what? Like I know my girlfriend. She loves like Western and like and, maybe that's not what it's country, right? It's country music, but like the only country music I can stand is like Johnny Cash. It's like that's it. I don't know why. If it's just the way he sings or his voice or what, I don't know. But anyway, this Alice Cooper song sounds like something. Sounds a little bit like Johnny Cash. I was actually surprised when it came on. Oh, okay. Jane. Do you guys see now why people pay people to flat? Hey, just takes so long. Okay, actually, let's bring up this one. Hey, check it out. It's the original Doblins. Look how small their head is. Now, don't they look like these guys would be like 6 feet tall, right? As soon as I put the big head on them, it's like they just shrink. It's funny. I need Jane. Let's see if that was the same color. I don't think that's the same color. Yeah, that's what we do. Okay, so I know we got two colors. What did I do here? Okay, so the casing is. I'm gonna leave this open here. I see. I see. Let's just put this down here. All right, which way is the hand going? So strapping this way, so it's going that way. Yeah. Crucified, no, no lie, no, I'm taking well, live long. Now, why this is gonna be tricky is so we got a new color here, right? Now we're getting purple into their color scheme because they've got their guns. The tricky part is the guns form out of energy, right? You guys will see that in a second. I just need to get like this basic version down so I can just reference this instead of having this document open here. So what makes it tricky is its energy. So we're going to use a little bit of special effects. I don't know if we got room in the budget for it, but we'll see if we can if we can do it. So we got that to go on, but we also got the background that I got to figure out a color for, right? So it's gonna be tricky. I believe in us though. I believe we can do this together. Yeah, I know. I'm singing. I know. I apologize. I'd be belting it out right now if I wasn't streaming. You only live once, my man. And that goes for you guys, right? Like I understand how brutal my voice is. So, in saying that, you only live once too. So if you don't want to hear me singing, I get it. Is that the right color? Weird. Hmm. You know the wood. So where's this going? Wow, this is hard to see. Here, let's mirror it. I might darken this out because this is actually like that's so close to this that it's like not even a shift. And give it all away. Yeah, that's better. When you died, I could have cried. That was sound so. Oh. All right, there we go. We got their gats, their rat-a-tat-tats. People still say gat. I don't think so. Huh? All right, let's pick that color and delete it. Don't need it. All right. Yes. So, whoa. When she died. Okay, I'm gonna come back to this one too because like we got all this stuff that's still add there. I don't want to worry about that since we're just doing flats. So I'm just gonna get the second one because this second one here is simple. It just there's no special effects or nothing, right? So let's just do this panel here and then we can move on. Injustice 2 is really good. I was surprised because normally not another realm games. Okay. See, I think Street Fighter 5 looks fucking amazing, man. Like I was watching, I'm sure you know Flo. I was watching his stream, and who's the other cat? Forget Li Joe. I was watching his, but like Flo or whatever. I was watching his, and I don't know. You know what? Like, don't get me wrong. When what was it? Mortal Kombat was it 9? The one that came out for 360 that had been a long way. Street or the first like new Mortal Kombat. I think it was 9. It was just called Mortal Kombat. That one was amazing. I loved it because it was great. Everything about it felt great and all that cool stuff, and it felt like something that I hadn't played in a long time, right? But then I got X. I played that too, and it I don't know, just something about it felt. I was just really more into Street Fighter. You know what it is? I find, and there's nothing wrong with it, right? Like if people want to play those games, like of course, I know the FGC can be pretty like like rotten a lot of times, even though it's like the FGC is such a small group of people. But anyway, the thing I don't like about them is that it's what are they called? Dial combos, right? Where it's like 1-1-4-1-3. You're just doing it, but like at least in Street Fighter, at least the way it feels, and I'm not very good at Street Fighter, but what I like about Street Fighter is you can react to stuff, and like hit confirms, and I know that's where some fighting games are different, right? And you can like all kinds, but I'm just saying for my own, like, so hit confirms mean when you're punching somebody, like if you commit to a combo and the guy was just blocking it all, you're gonna get punished. In Mortal Kombat, I'm not saying that's not possible, but it just always felt like you just go in with combos even if they get blocked. Like you can't wait to see as much as if things get hit, then you keep following through kind of stuff. And I don't know. I just there's something just whatever. But I'm glad if you. I don't know if you picked it up. If you did, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yep. No, you're right. Yep. Absolutely. Let's be honest. All fighting games just make fighting games better. So I'm actually really excited for And to be fair, I don't really like. I enjoy DC, but not as much as Marvel. I don't mean the game. I just mean the comics in general. So I don't have a lot of like association with the DC characters. I just grew up more on Marvel than that. But I'm really excited about the new Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I heard like there's like auto combo buttons and stuff. But I'm interested in seeing more of it and possibly picking it up. I haven't played like a Marvel game in a long time, just because it's pure chaos. Just like my old man brain can't understand it. All right, let's get the ads off the screen now. Mm-hmm. A Marvel 3 was really good and still being heavily played. Yeah, you're right. Um I did buy it like late in the cycle. I think for 360. I saw it at a used game store, but I didn't even have Xbox Live, so I know I was just playing it just for all the characters. I think it was like $15 or something. So it was totally like just like a throwaway play game. I wasn't even playing Street Fighter 4 at the time, and I enjoyed it. There was just so much going on, man. It was just like it was a little crazy. It was fun though. But fighting games when you don't have somebody to play with, just I don't know. They really lose their pizzazz when that happens, you know. For me, anyway. That's why I'm kind of excited for the new one because a lot of people will get into it. It'll be fresh again, you know. Getting new fighting games is always great. Getting new games like multiplayer games is always great because they're always like populated. People are playing. You can always get in games. It's still fresh. It's like trying to get into Street Fighter 5 now. You can, but it's a little different for you know people that have been playing for so long. Hope a Marvel Heroes Omega comes out. PS4, I'll enjoy it. Yeah, I heard about that too. Yeah, I heard about that. Isn't that kind of like what's it called? Shit. What was the one that came out like that? It was like Ultimate Alliance. That's what it was. Isn't it kind of like that? You're looking for a superhero version of Gauntlet. Gauntlet was a great game too, man. Dude, there's rumor that Thanos. Well, of course. I don't know, maybe not of course, right? Who is it in the new Marvel game? Ultron Smigma. Oh, Jesus Christ. Ultron Sigma. Anyway, if Thanos is in there too, that'd be pretty sick. I like Thanos. God. What the hell is this line? Oh, that's the ground. Okay, let's add the special effects time. Alright, what are we going to do here? What are we going to do? I think... Alright, so that's one layer. Two... So is it all? Okay, it is. Cool. Alright, well, we're going to duplicate all that just in case. Layer, combine. This way we can manipulate it and stuff. Edit. Alright, so let's take a look at our color wheel here and pick a color. Alright, so we got purple on purple action, right? So we're like all around here right now. So the energy should probably be around there. So we're going to... I still haven't decided like if they're shooting red lasers, most likely. Like red smoke would be kind of... Or red energy would be kind of cool. Red's a little tough to play with. Maybe let's try it going this way. Just see how it works. Oh, you don't like my fat beats? What kind of gun is it? I'm not sure yet. Like I'm thinking lasers. Because what's cool about lasers is like when you get into a battle, you can just see lasers streaming across, right? But I do like the idea of just shooting bullets as well. So I'm not sure. I suppose you should decide. I should have decided by now, right? Because I know what's coming up, and I don't know if bullets will matter, or if I should just go with lasers, because then you can see them better. I have not seen Guardian of the Galaxy. I haven't, guys. I don't really even watch movies, man. His mouth or something. Hope the Doblin is a better shooter than Stormtrooper. You know they're not. You know these guys are horrible shots. Let's see if we can just use a gradient foreground. It's very quicker. Hmm. Purple energy, you know. I'm going the purple. Try it around here. I don't know. We'll see. I'll leave that there. Let's assume it's purple. So that means the background color here would be what? Tattoos. So let's see how this looks with this red again. It's gonna lose that. Once we get the glow in there, we need like a darker color. So let's go. So we got the purple here. Let's go over to the blues or the greens maybe. Ugh. I think once I gets the shine and stuff in there, like regardless, it's if the darker it gets, the better the shines are gonna look, right? So we can't go pure black because then we lose a lot of stuff. And white is the best because it shows like clarity and action. I was gonna go gray right now. We'll fix it. Like I still have to do the shadows and stuff, but for now, let's just go with that. Hum. 'All right, one page of flats down. Jesus Christ. Guess what we get to do? All over again. Shouldn't take this long. Actually, how long? 'This stuff will go quicker. One, two, three, four. R. Kelly? What? Hey, Wooza, how's it going? Hi. That's killer. I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for asking. Explain what I'm doing. You have no idea what's. Okay, so what I'm doing is in comics, it's called flats or flatting. So, um, you see all the shadow and all the light, or I guess it's just shadow. That's what we'll do after we get the flats. This is what the flats look like. So we flat an entire page. It's kind of like a coloring book, and then we add the shadows. It's the most boring part of comics, in my opinion, right now. But it's got to get done before we can get back to drawing and stuff. That's what we're doing. Oh, thank you for the follow. Waiting for the name to pop up. Uza, thanks, man. Appreciate that, dude. Do you make comics yourself as well, or what are you up to? A little halo. Now I will stone you, stone you. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Red Silver Artist. Welcome, man. Appreciate it, you guys. Broken me and the broken, don't you? Actually, she doesn't have. What am I doing? What am I doing? She doesn't got lipstick. Yeah, but now you're part of the group. Now you're one of us. So you get a second welcome. John, are you going to kickstart a physical book once you have enough pages? No. Most likely not. I have no intent to sell this in book form. It's meant to always be free digitally. Eventually compiling it all together with like some background stuff. I was also considering like doing like, let's say the first chapter here. I think it's like 55 pages. Nothing's going to be as long as this one going forward. We're changing the format up. But regardless, putting it all together and selling it as like a PDF or something like that on Comixology, trying that out. But like what I'm imagining is like you get the normal edition and then the exact same thing, but just straight black and white, so people can check that out too. But no, currently I'm not saying it's off the table, but for the next this year totally is just making this stuff, not selling anything. Year two is when I'm going to look into like, okay, well, how can I get more people to check this out and possibly start making money off of it if people are interested. But Kickstarter is not the way I want to go. Just because I honestly, and this might sound stupid and selfish and whatever, currently I just don't want to deal with books and shipping, and I don't want to deal with any of that. I'd rather just keep making content, and if people want to support me, there's tons of way to do that. This isn't going to be the project, I don't think anyway, that's just going to make me like lose my day job. If that were possible, like I mean, then if printing it was, you know, if printing this book was the way to get me to like replace the day job, then this would be a whole different conversation. I don't expect that to be the case though. Nabu, do you have a gallery where you post your concept work of Jesop Momoka? I do, but it's on Patreon. So on Patreon is where I post new pages a week earlier than they go live, as well as like I do like a it's not a podcast, but it's a small little like audio thing. I try to do it once a week, once every 2 weeks, called Scribble Chat. Everything's Scribble, right? And that's where I just sort of talk about what's going on and interesting mumbo jumbo crap. But process stuff and concept stuff, it's all on Patreon. Yep. The reason why I do that, like I'll post stuff from time to time, like on Instagram, and if you follow Instagram or you go to my main website, there's linked images there. But the reason I do that on Patreon is I find that people that will give me money to make Jessup or to keep doing what I'm doing by paying $1 or more, right? Those are people that actually really like the comic, and they want to see it going and they're interested. Those people, that's why I just treat it a little different there. Cross contour, Jessup strikes back in here too. You got it. That would make a cool spoof cover of Jessup's silhouette with a lightning bolt in the background. Okay, let's keep it going. I knew this page was going to go a lot quicker than the last one. And I'm slowing down. It's like, just relax now. Just take it easy, right? Alright, let's get this dude going. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. And if you guys want to talk more about like Kickstarter and not wanting to go there right away or at all, we can talk about that too. If you're interested, I think Kickstarter is a smart thing to do. Makes sense. Nothing wrong with it. Honestly, like if I was just to add something on there, and if you guys want to keep talking about it, we can too. But if not, like I don't have the time to do that if I want to keep making this stuff. I think first and foremost, like I've been sending Marvel and DC editors these pages as well. Like when I get like 3 to 6 pages of finished inks or whatever, I send them to editors that are interested in my stuff at Marvel, DC, and IDW. I send them stuff. Nobody's getting back to me or anything. Some people are saying, "Yeah, keep sending me stuff and all that." That's all I can do because that could lead to stuff in the future. But I don't have the infrastructure, and currently I don't have the desire to. Like, I want to keep making my own stuff, but and what I found out is that more than half of the people I was interviewing or like asking randomly at shows and online were more than 50% were saying they consume their comics digitally, which is interesting to me and what tells me that there's definitely a digital audience. I mean, look at everybody in here. All you guys are checking my stuff out. I probably don't know any of you in real life. You're coming from everywhere on the internet, right? And now you guys know about this thing. Whether you'll put money into it, that's besides the point. But I don't have to rely on conventions and stuff to try to get this out there. And it's more like, so what is this, right? It's just everything. The way I look at this stuff, guys, and you guys can look at whatever you like too. But I try to look at this as all the projects I'm doing are like launching points into the next thing. So, do the best you can, do with what you got, and hope for the best with everything. But the next thing after this, that's just as important, or if not more important than what I'm doing right now, because all this stuff is like building your foundation. It's continually building and building and building, and you keep leveling up as you go, right? So if I don't make money on it, that's not the worst case scenario here, right? Like I'm getting better. I keep streaming. I keep sharing. You guys share. You guys stream. You guys talk about it. I talk about it. We all talk about it. So it's all good. There's not a, and this goes for you guys too, not just about my. I keep rambling about myself, but this goes 100% for everybody else as well. I don't care what level of art you're at. We all say it all the time. But just as long as you're making stuff continually and you're sharing it with people and letting people know that you're doing stuff, and you keep getting better, which will happen just because you're working all the time, drawing and stuff. There's not a single thing bad that's going to come from that. Career-wise, you might lose relationships and stuff, but that's a different topic altogether. But that's what I'm saying. So there's really no negative to any of this. I mean, if you're just going into this looking for money, there's probably a lot smarter ways to make more money. You're probably better off just doing like prints and stuff, right? But I'm trying to look at this myself more along the lines of, keep building this to like make a career out of it. And I have no idea if we'll ever hit it. But you gotta try. If you don't try, what's the point? Cross country. To be honest, John, unless you some dream to work on Marvel characters, I would avoid Marvel DC. The page rate is awful, and you're just making stuff for them and not yourself. I talk to those editors weekly at the Kubert School, and doing it yourself is the way to go. There's nothing to lose now, money wise. Sure. But this is the thing. I'm just going to add to that little point. The only, I guess, let me turn this down because this could get into some stuff. The only issue I have with that is this page rate they're talking about, like how you added there. How the page rate is awful. So, page rate is awful. What does that mean? What's awful? Is $100 a page awful? Is $200 a page awful? It's $300. It's $50. What do you need to live and save and make money, right? What are these things? And I do think they're different for everybody. The other side of it is I 100% agree. You don't need publishers anymore. However, in order to make it, you have to do something that is very difficult to do. You have to make something that people are willing to share organically on their own. And nobody knows what that secret sauce is, right? This might take off in 10 years, right? Or the next project I do, the next one, right? You never know what it is, what the bauble of lightning is. Nobody knows what that is. And on one side, let's say you worked with Marvel or DC or whoever the fuck for like a year. Let's say you work with them for 5 years. You'll gain new eyes through that as well that are going to be interested in you, period, right? So you can take that stuff and still keep doing your own thing and all that stuff as well. So I do see the benefits of both. I understand both sides. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer myself. I do think people that are in a field, they'll see things differently for sure because you're in it, and they know long term. And this is one thing I've always agreed with. No matter where you work or who you work for, no matter what you do, you have to be working on yourself as well because what you're doing isn't going to last forever. So I don't care if you work at Marvel, unless you're Jim Lee or if you're like some big superstar, this is totally different, right? We're going to say the average Marvel or DC artist, right? And around there. It's most likely not going to last forever, and unless you're investing time into like your brand as in you and what else you're doing, finding work after that washes up. I don't want to say it'd be difficult, but it might be as rewarding later on because you're not giving yourself an out, right? Like, let's just say you work for Marvel and you're just doing Spider-Man, but you're not doing anything else. You're just doing Spider-Man. You could be the Spider-Man artist for a while, right? And that's great. But if and when that washes up, which it most likely will, if you don't have something else to fall back on that could replace Spider-Man, possibly, I think that's a scary thing to be doing. I would recommend as much as you can anyway, right? Is I've always believed that like when you're working on something, to have like a second source of income or something else. And it could just be a small thing. Because if you lose this big thing, you got this small thing that you can still try to do until you can replace the big thing again. That's all. Anyway, I don't know. Under the poverty line, working over 40 hours a week, and you have to pay your own medical insurance and taxes is not good. That's what I consider awful. I feel like the internet artists have more fame than some fill-in artists somewhere. Okay, so I'll add on that. Like I live in Canada, right? So healthcare is a lot different than in the U.S. Yeah, see you later, Dan or Den. I appreciate you coming in, man. One thing I'll say too, like again, maybe there's just a Canadian viewpoint on it, a current Canadian viewpoint, but like the insurance and all that stuff, I don't worry about that. That's whatever. Under the poverty line, I don't know. I don't have a family and kids, right? So everybody, that's what I'm saying. Like everything's different here. If you've got huge expenses, like I don't want a big house. I don't buy new cars. I've got beater cars. I'm fine with beater cars. I don't want anything else. I live in a modest home. I don't want big shit. I don't. This makes me happy. And some video games from time to time and like hanging out with friends and stuff. I don't need big shit. I don't even want that stuff. If I got a huge windfall of cash, I wouldn't be buying big houses and stuff, but that's just me, and I know that's why it's different for everybody. As for like under poverty, I don't know what that means. Like, how much is that? What's the poverty line, and for the U.S. and stuff, right? Like, and I do consider myself fortunate because I don't have debt. I don't have student debt. All that stuff I've already taken care of. You know, I've worked at factories to pay that off. So it puts me in a different perspective, I think, than some people where it's like, and I'll never disagree. If you're going in, what this gets at is this, I think, first and foremost, and I'm not excusing companies that do this, but if you get into comics for the money, it's not that the money isn't there. There's tons of money in comics, tons of money, because it doesn't necessarily come just from the work. It comes from potential future work when you're working in comics, right? But yes, you put a shitload of hours into comics, 100%. But you know all of this going in, right? And if you know all of this going in, it shouldn't be a surprise that if you get it, that it's like, oh, what the hell is this? This should be more, right? The other side is, from my understanding anyway, let's say the base minimum getting in for penciling and inking is like 150 a page. US. So in Canada, that's insane, right? But let's just say it's 150 Canadian. So 150 bucks a page, right? And in my mind, I would have to do a page a day in order to not survive, but like make a decent living, right? Like I make less than that right now. So that's what I'm saying is I don't know, it's different. I think it's just everybody's story is a bit different. Everybody always wants more money no matter where they're working, 100%. And I don't know how you would change this. Like I don't know. I'm not sure. 22,000 in the US is poverty. Is that like a family though? You can see at conventions guys like Buzz who have never worked for Marvel and DC make more than some of their best talent. I don't know who Buzz is, but at the same time too, indie guys, I'm not excusing any of this stuff, but indie dudes, you can totally make it. It's just tough, right? And if you're okay with that, then you're gonna most likely most of us we work. This isn't your gig. This is not your gig. You're working somewhere else for somebody else, bagging groceries, moving a forklift, in a studio, drawing design or UI and stuff. Like you're doing something that's not comics that you want to do. And that's why it's super important to be doing this stuff when you're not doing it because shit has to grow. You don't just show up as like, hey guys, I'm the best artist around. Like it just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't, you know? According to Sean Murphy's chart, over 75% of comic artists are working under the poverty line in the U.S. See, I don't understand that. I need some numbers here. Okay, so please tell me. Okay, so you guys are saying 22,000 in the U.S. is the poverty line, right? So is that for a single person or is that for a family? Because I just want to see something here for myself anyway, and I know I would say I'm not average because I do know a lot of people like I think it's normal for people to assume they need credit cards and debt. I'm not like that, and I'm not saying I'm better at all. I'm just saying so my things are a little bit different. But I just want to see what I make a year. Like I should know, right? Yeah, so I'm making probably like around poverty line myself, and I don't feel like I'm in poverty. And it's Canadian, so it's even like less money. So that's something I never understood in saying people who win a ton of money and they go spend a huge chunk of that on a big ass house. All you could do instead is live comfortably in your current housing instead. Of course, if you live in a wreck, then upgrading, yeah, 100%. Nabu is saying 20 US dollars is 4 times stronger than my country's currency, which is currently why I'm taking $20 US. That's exactly right. Thank you, man. You're saying exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody's got a little twist to stuff. Again, I will say too, right? Like I highly recommend if you guys haven't already. I've talked about this guy a shitload because I really hope. I know some of you won't. Most of you won't. There's a guy named Dave Ramsey. If you haven't heard of him, go search him out. Dave Ramsey, right? He's easy to remember. He's got the 7 baby steps to get out of debt. I love it. The first thing he says is like, you cut up your credit cards. It's just amazing stuff. I think people are just stuck in this. Well, it's not a surprise, right? Everybody's into commercialism and consumerism, and buy. Okay, and that's it's if I'm not okay. This is gonna sound like I'm attacking people, but I don't care. If if you're struggling at the end of the week to have money to buy necessities, but you've got an expensive cell phone, if you can't put money in the bank and pay for your debt, but you just got a new TV, or you just bought a new Cintiq because that's the thing that's going to get you out of art, you're fucked. Okay, and I know that's going to sound super aggressive, but you need to wake up. All right, art, and especially if you want a career in art. Okay, this is coming from a guy that's like marginal in the art field. Okay, I'm not making. I don't. I make my day job is some art, but it's nothing like go talk to like a Marvel artist or whatever, and he'll give you a different perspective. I'm just saying, if you can't get your basics under wraps, and you're still wondering like, why can't I get ahead? Why can't I get ahead? Why can't I? But you're not doing anything about your money, like you're fucked. And again, if you want to get into art, working on a gig is awesome. But once that gig's done, and the gigs are always done, let's say it's Marvel and you're doing like a book, and they're like, guess what? We're pulling the book. Well, what happens to me now? You're just floating around. You're floating around waiting. So now you're starting to do commissions. You're trying to do stuff, right? And that's the reality. And if you're not smart about your money, art isn't a very stable thing at all. We're lucky to get money to draw. And anybody that thinks that because you can draw that you're entitled to be like something special, sadly we're not. We're just part of the machine, right? I love being able to do this. But if you can't take care of yourself when those slow times are going to be there, and they'll always be there, they're not going to ever not go away. And that's not even taking account into like life stuff. Your roof needs shingles. Your car breaks down. Your Cintiq breaks. You know, something happens in shipment. I don't know, and your paper doesn't get stuff right. If you guys can't get on your shit, like I know it's probably gonna upset people, and it's real talk. If you can't get a hold of your money, you're fucked. You're fucked, and that's like the saddest thing. It's the saddest thing. And if you don't want to hear it, I'm sorry. Sorry if I'm ruffling some feathers here. Again, I'm sorry, but it's real. Like, oh, it's just super real, and I don't understand people that they wiggle their way around in that stuff, and it's scary. You're gonna you're hurting yourself, sadly, and sadly people don't see that. It's get the new thing to get ahead, or get the new thing because I don't know. You have no impulse control. I don't know. Okay, sorry. Cross Contour is saying, I'm sorry, the poverty line in a single person is 11K. Okay, well, yeah, I guess. I could see that. So basically, you need to make $1,000 a month. Yeah, no, I see that. So it's basically 11,000 plus 11,000 for your significant other that's living with you, and then probably even more for the baby, right? I guess. But that okay. Here's the thing too, right? Like, I guess this is the other side too. How many of you guys and girls are willing to like move your life so far back where you're eating, like let's say all you had to eat every day was rice, beans, and salad. Like that's a complete meal for you. Okay. Do you know how expensive that is? It's fuck all. But most of us, it's like you gotta have a hamburger and some fries. Well, I don't have time to make this stuff, so I'm gonna go eat out at Subway. I'm going to do all these things, and I'm not. I do this too, okay? I'm just trying to do, whatever. Like, how far can you pull back to have that life you want? That's the trick question, right? It's like how much can you pull back and still be healthy, still be be satiated and have enjoyment in life without having to like always continually get the new stuff. That's why honestly, you guys, that's why I say if you're an artist, we've got it made. You're like, don't get me wrong. I love me some Street Fighter. I love me some video games. Don't you dare get that wrong. I love it. It's fun, right? But guess what we get to do? I'm drawing this stupid Doblin King, a Tupo Queen. These guys here, a giant mustache muscle man that looks like he should probably be in like a or a female magazine, if you know what I mean. They look like they're here. Let's put the speed lines back on there. They look like they're about to throw down the sickest mixtape you've ever seen, right? Like, what the hell am I doing? Like, do you know how fun this is? This gets to be your entertainment. Again, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I want to go play some Street Fighter right now, because I don't want to do flats anymore. I'm getting tired of this. But there's something fulfilling about being an artist and making stuff. And the fact that we get people able to give us money for it is the best. And I agree. I wish art was valued more. I wish art paid more. I wish all these things. But the reality is, people don't care about art. People don't care about art unless there's nothing wrong with the world going on. When art is like accepted and stuff. And if you look around politically or whatever, currently and for a long time, this isn't the Renaissance anymore. People, it's all commercial. Make stuff, make stuff, make stuff, right? And that's what I'm saying. So there's jobs out there for you. But if money is the driving thing for you, and it very well could be, I would recommend just do your own comics on the side and build it up from there. Other than that, you probably, if money's your thing, get a job doing something else. That's all. That's all. And I'm interested in what you guys are saying here. I hope I know this is gonna be super, super aggressive, but I want to hear a conversation from you guys too. Um, Across is also saying, I guess my point is, if you are going to work so hard for so little money in the U.S., you're better off working for yourself and owning what you create. I agree 100%. My only, no, I'm not going to disagree with that because what I would say to that is, I guess, sort of do what I'm doing. I have a job. You'll always find better paying jobs than comics. That's not even a question, right? So that's possible. What he's saying, and I do agree, is it is an option that people can do. Is still do your 9 to 5. Let's say you want to work at Marvel because you want Marvel to replace your 9 to 5. Okay, then there's a money cap there, right? But there's perks too. Your travel costs go down, all that stuff. You're living at home basically, right? So there's some money cost savings there and stuff. But if comics is what you want to do, then maybe that's what you need to replace your 9 to 5. I get it. But in the meantime, get a nice 9 to 5 somewhere, or get 2 part-time jobs, whatever you can, because you're going to need money, period. Okay, it just makes life a little easier, and we all need it. Okay, so if you're a comic book artist and you just want to do this stuff, but you got to go flip burgers, then go flip burgers. Get your ego out of the way and get your shit under control. Right, get your debt cleaned up. Just keep saving it. When you're not doing that, when you come home, do your own comic. And I will agree with this. Stop working for other people. There's no need to work on other people's stuff anymore. You just don't need it. Do your own shit, even if it sucks. Do your own stuff, because you're just going to get better at it no matter what, right? But take that stuff, and this is what I'm doing as well, is try to find editors and stuff like that and keep sharing it online, posting it, posting it, posting it. It's the same thing as if you're working for somebody else. And eventually, I can guarantee it, eventually something will happen, or an opportunity will come up where somebody will be like, I'd like to give you money for your services or something, right? And then you can start to get some wiggle room. And it's possible to make a living off your own stuff. People do it all the time. And Kickstarter is a great way of doing it. I've also heard digital is a great way of doing it too. There's tons of options out there. The internet is an amazing thing. The internet is allowing us to do all kinds of stuff, man. So what it does is, it doesn't mean don't go to Marvel, in my opinion. It doesn't mean don't go there. It just means you can go there, but you can also go here as well at the same time. There's options. And it all starts back with, make sure you're making comics. That's it. Okay, and if you need more money, then maybe not making your own stuff. Maybe work with other people. Like if you're in a hot spot, yeah, you could work 2 jobs. Let's say you're flipping burgers from something to midnight, and you're stocking something, but you get like a 4-hour window somewhere in your life there. Maybe you gotta sleep later or earlier or whatever, but maybe you get like a client job for somebody else that just needs you to do a 10-page pitch, but you're like, I need money so bad. It's still comics, you can still make that money, and it still keeps going. But yes, definitely the key there is just keep making comics, you know. And as for building franchises and you as a brand, you can market yourself as somebody that makes comics, period. I get people emailing me from time to time too, asking if I can do their pitch for image and stuff like that, and I turn them down because I want. I've been doing this for a while, but this is my time to just do this, and that means the cost is I can't. I'm not getting money from other people to do that, but I'm okay because I have a job. Of course, money would be great, but I'm playing that long-term game, the chess game, right? We're not playing checkers. We're playing chess. We're playing chess. Just it's a long burn. It's a long burn. That's all. And it's all good. The best part, all this stuff is awesome. We get to do this, guys. We get to draw. Okay, and I hate hearing artists get entitled. And some people are. That's cool. I just can't. I can't listen to those people. You know. And everybody's got their thing, and everybody's allowed to have their thing. But I can't. I can't be part of that conversation. To me, the fact that I get to get up every day, use this hand until it goes away, and look what I'm drawing. Stupid again, mixtape covers, right? I'm doing this stuff. Not a religious guy at all, but you know I'll use that lingo. Like I consider myself super blessed to be able to have this, to have you guys, to have people commenting on my shit saying it sucks, or leaving comments saying, "Hey, this is cool. Hey, how do you do this? How do you blah blah blah?" They want to hear the story. They want to hear, you know, like how did you get into this kind of stuff? Like that, you guys. This is all organic stuff. Like it doesn't feel anyway that I've been pushing it down people's throats or anything. And it's all I don't know where any of this goes. I have an idea where I would like it to go, and let's just get there. Let's see what happens. You know, what else am I gonna do? Right? You can't just sit around waiting for stuff to happen. What do they say? What's that saying? Um, the someday people that say, "Well, someday I'll do this," it'll never happen. Someday is a road to nowhere, something like that. I butchered the living shit out of that. But if you're sitting around waiting for other people to get your career started or an opportunity to get like, all I need to do is just get it in front of that one editor, and oh my god, it'll be amazing. Like you're wasting your time. You're wasting so much time. Just keep making stuff. Keep making stuff. Making stuff will get you a life with this. And if you're lucky, if you're one of the super lucky ones, you'll be making a career out of stuff that you made. And if you're not so lucky, you get to work on other properties. Shucks. That's pretty good, right? There's there's zero downside. Zero. I don't see a single downside to any of this stuff, especially if it's something you want to do. Okay. Art by Anthony is saying, my girlfriend gets pissed at times because I'm so strict on money. I can't live off 10,000 a year if I can't live off 10,000 a year if I really want to. I think you meant you can. You can live off 10,000 a year if I really want to and have two kids. I'm just what you just what you're willing to do. Instead of going to a movie and dinner every weekend and going for a park and a walk. See, like man, we could be brothers. We could be homies. We could hang out. We could be total friends. I'll tell you that right now. 100%. And I will say this. This will sound horrible, but if your girlfriend can't understand that, or your boyfriend, you need to let him go. Or I'll tell you that. Just save yourself a whole bunch of heartache. Trust me on this one. Save yourself a whole bunch of heartache. Sit him down, and be like, listen. My passion in life is to draw for a living. The price that comes with that is the fact that I could be struggling with money from time to time. That's why I'm so cheap. That's why I'm so anal about my money and not spending it on things that are temporary enjoyment, because I know to keep my continual happiness, I need to save that money. And the best part is, well, maybe not the best, but the person you're telling this to, they either accept that or they don't. And it's one of those things that all artists know about. And if you're an artist and you don't know, and you're going to stick with this for a while, it's going to happen. And it's not nothing to be scared about. It's just reality, right? So the person you're with, what you're doing is you're telling them what's going to come around the corner. What do they call it? Murphy's Law, right? If it's bound to happen, it'll happen, right? Like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So if they know, and the best word is if they're on board, they're like, hey, great. As long as they know that you're not going in and, like, you're living off their money or something like that, right? Like, there's just a conversation we all have to have that's different. And if they want to go to movies all the time, they want to be entertained and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that either. That's actually normal. That's why artists like talking to some artists that get along with this stuff. It's hilarious because I feel like I heard a Jerry Seinfeld thing. He was talking to I forget the guy's name, another comedian. And the comedians were basically saying like Jerry was asking this guy, "Can you teach somebody to be a comedian?" And the guy was like, "No. You can teach somebody how to tell jokes, but you can't teach somebody how to be a comedian." And the reason for that is because it's something you're born with, not talent, nothing like that. It's just you have a way of looking at the world that's different. Okay, and that's all. It doesn't mean you're better; it just means you're different. And some people aren't going to understand that, and that's what I'm saying. Save yourself. I've had some experience with this. It wasn't fun, but that's as real talk as you're gonna get. You know, and if they're all right with that, then again, not religious, but God bless you. Do you live a happy life? Inkbot, if you ever make a print version of this, you need to put that description on the back. Well, sorry, see, this is what happens when I ramble. I don't know what the description was on the back. Nabu, you can still do a Batman or any other hero. It's just done for fun. Fan comics, I guess. Yeah, for sure. Cross contour. The biggest problem for us as U.S. citizens is we get really sick. At any time, we will get destroyed with debt with no medical insurance. See, that's crazy. Just visiting a doctor is over $200 for anything. That's nuts, man. Like I know the Canadian. I'm very fortunate that I haven't had anything major happen, but it'll happen, right? The body just stops working. But like when I hear weird things, like it's just not normal to me, right? Like, and I don't mean this to make it sound like Canada's better or anything like that. Just different. Like we can go to a clinic, you can go to a hospital. I'm pretty sure you don't pay for anything. You just show up, check this out, and then they go like, okay, well you need some medicine to whatever, and you're like, okay. We all have this thing called an OHIP card, and that OHIP card is through the government. We all put money into it. Comes out of your paycheck. Taxes are high though, but it's like everybody participates in it, and you go and you're like, okay, well, here's my OHIP card. It's like a discount card. Basically, it lets everybody know you're a citizen of what province, and when you go to get medicine, they take like a percent off or whatever, like a large amount too. Then if you're at work and you get benefits at work, then there's like additional benefits that you get there too, right? So that's for medicine. But like if you need glasses and stuff like that, that's where it goes in for work and all that. And it's not nothing crazy. From what I know, I don't even know if I called an ambulance and they came to pick me up or not. I'm pretty sure you don't pay for that because the government pays for this. I don't know. It's weird. Something weird. Okay, where was I? But yes, I would say 100%. If you're living in the U.S., it sounds like there's a lot more things that are super scary for money needs to be. And that, what's even crazier then? Like that's what you just told me, cross contour. If you go to the doctor, it's over $200. Do you know how like anal I would be about my money if that was the case? There's no way I'm buying shoes, a PS4, and a big screen TV when I know that like if I trip coming out of my house, or I sprain an ankle, that's a $200 injury. Like, oh my god. Art by Anthony. Can I link a sketch I did to see what you think? Yeah, absolutely. Just post it in the chat, bud. Michigan, nice. Hey, you're right across. I'm from Windsor, man, so you know where I'm at. Actually, you know where I need to go this summer? I want to go to Cedar Point. Get the drive through Michigan on there. Cross Country is saying my favorite quote by Andy Warhol: "Don't think about making art, just get it done. Let everyone else decide if it's good or bad, whether they love it or hate it. While they're deciding, make even more art." I 100% agree. 100% agree. Art by Anthony. What? We are. You actually know? I know your girlfriend. Who's your girlfriend? Who's your girlfriend that I know? Inkbot. If something can go wrong, it will go wrong. That's Murphy's Law. Okay, I butchered it, but yes, thanks. At least you've been friends with her for years, even before your YouTube channel. No. My girlfriend and I, my current girlfriend, does not make it sound bad. No, my current girlfriend. That sounds so weird to say. We've been together for 4 years, so I had this channel way before that. Way before that. The girlfriend I had when I started my YouTube channel, that shit's long gone. That was that dark shit I was talking to you guys about, that I was kind of alluding to. You know, when you talk to people and you know the worst case scenario is coming and they kind of run away or they're not prepared, it's good to know that you know at least nothing serious, like there was no kids or anything like that, so they don't get all screwed up. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to check out this art here, but then I'm going to get going. Actually, I apologize. I was going to keep this going a little longer. I got some running around to do today. Most likely, I'll be streaming again tonight. If not tonight, tomorrow, 100%. Tomorrow, I think's straight streaming. Might be. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Check your Facebook. I don't know how well you guys know her. Oh, we know her? Sorry, I feel like this is all cryptic and it's my my fault. Okay, sorry. All right, let's check out this art. We're gonna do a little constructive criticism. Let's bring it on here. Let's minimize this action. All right. Just doodling and sketching in my sketchbook. Looked up lice on Google and thought they looked like little nasty things, so I wanted to turn it into a monster. Cool. Looks really good, man. Let me just take a look at what we're looking at. You know what the face kind of reminds me of? The monster from the dogs in Ghostbusters. You know, Gozer and whoever the hell, I think. Yeah, no, I like it. Let's see if there's any constructive criticism we can give. Okay, well, I guess the first one we can give, let's do the old copy. Instagram. Just trying to make it so I can't copy this picture. Well, we're going to do it anyway. Alright, so the only thing that's really popping out, I suppose, just because this way it feels like I'm not just doing whatever, at least I'm trying to help out. Okay, so let's make a new layer. Alright, so I know it's a sketch, I can tell it's a total sketch or stuff, right? But one thing you started doing and then you stopped was you had bounce light right here, right? And I think you're trying to make it look like the light's coming from behind, but then you did it on this arm here, right? So what you need to do is if you're going to do this, you got to carry it. There's a light source coming, right? So I imagine because of that arm, there's a light source, you know, kind of coming at us this way too. So if you got white out, I know you don't need to do this because it's just a sketch, but I'm just going to show you by adding this here, right? Just adding some white out here. It's going to help that all these things kind of make more sense because of the light that you already have here. Plus all down here too. All right, that's going to come up here. It's just a small little thing. All right, so I'll turn it on and off so you can kind of see it. That's all. That's it. So all I would do is just grab a white pen if you want. Other than that, no, it's cool. It's just a quick character design, creature design. Looks good, man. Inkbot saying, I mentioned before that I decided to focus on game development. I've been focusing on that and I feel great about it. Going to come back to comics at one point, but great, man. Yeah, I remember that. I'm glad that you stuck with it. Does it also, I guess you could just add to this before I take off. Now that you've decided to go that route, does it make making decisions and what you want to do and plans and organizing stuff a little easier for you? Yeah, no problem, man. Okay, well, I'm going to say thank you guys. I appreciate your guys' time. I'll get your reply in a second here, Inkbot. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Like usual, I appreciate your guys' time, all that good stuff. And until later today or whenever I see you guys next, keep reading comics, keep making comics. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.